and welcome back to the Funfiltered podcast. I am Sam, and I am joined as ever by Jordan.
Jordan, that's me.
That's you.
Yay.
Hello.
I'm here.
You are here.
Yes.
Yes. The situation's somewhat changed from my usual setup, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, we've moved the table. You've moved the table.
I moved the table
right into the living area.
The crux of the cranny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's thrown off the feng shui a little bit.
Okay.
But it's inspired some domesticity because
you got a cup of tea.
I've never had a cup of tea on the podcast before. It's been water or soft drinks.
Okay.
And I'm just going to make tea. So it's obviously like seeping into my
What
pores.
inspired this? Why is I'm going to be comfortable today?
Well, it's not... Okay, the reason I moved the table is because I've sat in that spot for so long that the floorboards are beginning to degrade.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, I'm sinking into the floor.
I see, okay.
But also, I think we tried this before and it was... we didn't actually record an episode.
No.
But we did move it. And
we'll see what it sounds like afterwards, but I think the sound was... Because we are amongst furniture.
Yeah.
It sounds slightly better, slightly less of an echo. I don't know how it's going to...
And it's the first time in a very long time that we started, and I was like, I have no energy to do this. I can't even bother.
There's something to this feng shui business, isn't there?
Yeah. I can't even bother to start.
Yeah.
But this is our second attempt.
Yes, so we're going to start. We're going to get into it.
We're going to get into it.
Straight away.
What
are we talking about on the podcast, Sam?
Is this the intro to the coming up?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to say a thing to lead us into the coming up.
Oh, have I? I thought that was going to lead into us saying coming up.
Okay.
Fine. It's coming up. The Razzies.
The Oscars, Part 1.
The controversy surrounding two distant strangers.
The Oscars, Part 2.
Jordan has a question about underage girls.
It makes sense when you hear it, I promise. Derek Chauvin and related topics.
An overview of Zack Snyder's oeuvre.
Dawn of the Dead.
300.
Watchmen.
Sucker Punch.
Man of Steel.
And Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
And the Oscars, Part 3.
Ooh, Circularity.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we talk about the awards first and foremost?
Which awards, Sam?
You sounded insincere on the last attempt, and you sound insincere now.
Okay, what are we talking about? Which awards?
The Razzies,
okay.
The Golden Raspberries.
The Golden Raspberries.
And the Oscars, the Academy Awards.
Okay, getting them both out of the way.
In one.
Right here, right now.
Yes, well, they do have a somewhat symbiotic relationship, don't they? Say symbiotic, not really. The Razzies have just always scheduled the ceremony to be the day before the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think that was the case this year. Certainly wasn't long before.
No.
I think the main thing to take away is they're no longer fun.
Okay, all right.
The Golden Raspberries always used to be, it was never... For those who don't know, they award the worst films of the year.
They're the anti-Oscars.
They're the anti-Oscars.
Yeah.
Worst film, worst director, worst remake, rip-off or sequel, whatever
worst on-screen pairing.
Yeah, things like
stuff
that.
Like that, yeah.
And usually the nominees aren't just actors. Like if it's a documentary, like Fahrenheit 9/11, for instance, George Bush, they'd nominate for best actor.
Yes,
things like that.
Was it Jack and Jill, where it was like Adam Sandler and himself?
Or he was probably up for best actress, wasn't he? For
best actress or
worst actress.
Worst actress.
Worst actress.
Somebody and their giant ego. I think that was one pairing.
Like worst. Yeah, exactly. Or I think the most recent one, it was Robert Downey Jr. and his terrible Welsh accent.
Oh yeah, one of the pair. Yeah. They try to have a bit of fun with it.
They tried, but it's not that fun anymore.
Oh no.
So the film that won worst film is called Absolute Proof. Have you ever heard of Absolute Proof?
I have not.
Nor had I. It doesn't even have a Wikipedia entry.
Okay. It feels like punching down a little bit, isn't it? If it doesn't even have a Wikipedia entry.
Yeah.
Like the director couldn't even muster the energy to write about the film. Yeah.
Well, the guy who made it, I don't know anything about this film. His name is Michael Lindell, and from what I can gather, it's a film that tries to suggest that the 2020 election was stolen from the Republicans.
Okay.
All right. Not something with which I agree.
Oh, right. Okay. So this was this was right in at the end of the year.
It must have been, yeah. Unless they're going by the same rules as the Oscars.
I know the Oscars have extended the window a little bit, but when was the election? November.
Yep.
So they would have had to start production, even if they started production straight away.
Yeah, that's still a quick.
You don't make a documentary overnight. So this must have been right at the end. They managed to squeeze this in.
To be fair, it probably is a terrible film.
Well, yeah.
So it could just be literally a few people talking to a camera. They've edited it.
You've long since said, haven't you, that Republicans they have no sense of art.
No, except Clint Eastwood. He's the only one.
Yeah.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Republican. Actually, Patricia Heaton is a Republican as well, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do you know Patricia Heaton?
I know the name.
She's Raymond's wife in Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, right. Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay.
I think closeted for a long time. Closeted Republican. She came out a few years ago. Anyway, we'll get onto that later. But
oh dear.
Not that later. But still, like, I haven't seen this film. I hadn't heard of it. It probably rubbish. Probably didn't get a wide release. Not that anything did.
Yeah.
Straight online, crappy conspiratorial documentary. But the fact that people will look at those awards and go, "What? What's that?" And I think Cats won last year, right?
Yes.
Because I think Cats was undeniable.
Yes.
It was unassailable. Like, they had to acknowledge that was the worst thing.
Oh yeah.
But in 2016, a film called Hillary's America won worst film.
Okay.
And the director and all that, Dinesh D'Souza, Republican. And
so it was like the real truth about Hillary's America. One of those.
Yes, it was an anti-Hillary film.
I see. Okay.
And so in 2016 and 2020, the voting years, worst film has gone to a Republican
I see what you're
produced documentary.
Suggest,
just seems a bit strange, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, everything is political now.
Oh, of course.
But it's just, they're obviously catering to the in crowd, and I suppose most people who pay attention to the Razzies would broadly be sympathetic. But you should sort of ignore that stuff, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, it should be fun. It should be Doolittle. It should be all this crap.
Yeah, it's the anti-Oscars in every sense, where it's like it's the worst film that like most people know of.
Yeah, if anything should be populist, it should be the Razzies.
Absolutely.
We all saw this crap.
Whereas with what's the Absolute Truth? What was it called?
Absolute Proof.
Absolute Proof. With Absolute Proof,
Yeah.
what they've just done is they've created a situation where a lot of people, pretty much everyone who's going to look at that, are going to go, I don't know what that is, and they're going to look it up.
Yeah.
They've basically just acted as publicity for the film. Even if people like look it up and go, oh yeah, I completely agree with the Razzies, this is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Just by default, this is the worst thing that came out this year. You're generating like interest.
Yes.
You're generating clicks
Yeah.
for that film that you clearly don't want anybody to see or agree with.
Well, that's the thing. It's one of the paradoxes of film criticism. Is I've heard a lot of people talk about this. When they say, this film is so terrible, please do not waste your money on it.
Yeah.
Part of you goes, I have to see it now.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to see it.
Yeah.
But, at the risk of hubris, I'm fairly well-educated on American politics.
Okay.
And I'm very well-educated on films.
Yes.
Or to say that I've heard of all the ones. But I hadn't heard of this film, either through the political sphere or through the cinematic sphere. So, yeah, rest assured, most people haven't heard of this.
Yeah, if it's not even a film that Republican pundits were pushing.
But I don't think many Republicans believe that the election was stolen.
No, but my point was going to be like, even like if it was a film that all Republicans were pushing as like, look at this is true, this is real actual proof that the election was stolen from us. Yeah. Then they would probably, then you could understand like, oh, we'll give it worst film to sort of
to really counter the opposing side.
To kind of discredit what they're saying.
But if it's one extreme sort of outlier, it does seem like, why are you wasting? You have now elevated it.
You've gone out of your way to punish something that wasn't really doing anything. It wasn't doing any harm whatsoever.
Yeah, you have to punch up at the Razzies.
Yeah.
Right? Because if a film is really immoral, like the various Manson-inspired films, right? That just have a really horrific kind of fetishization of all that stuff.
Yes.
Right? But no one's seen it. Just ignore it.
Yeah.
Because it will compel someone like me to want to go watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Because no one has seen it. So it's where it belongs, in obscurity.
Yes, which is the whole idea of the, not capitalism necessarily, but the fact that things that should be ignored generally are. The market works these things out, And it has, because I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah.
So now I might watch it. If it's the worst film of the year.
Razzies? Do they have an academy?
I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
What are the Razzies?
I don't know. Yeah, just a bunch of people, right?
But it's not critics, I don't think.
No.
It must just be just an organisation.
Okay.
An independent organisation.
Right, okay.
Anyway, that's really all there is to say. I mean, that film took a lot of awards. Music took a lot of awards. The film music.
The Sia film. Yeah,
the Sia film.
Yeah.
I think she won Worst Director. Kate Hudson won Worst Actress. The Autistic Kid, Worst Supporting Actress.
Oh dear, okay.
I think I think Doolittle might have won Worst Remake.
Okay.
All that. But yeah, boring.
Yeah.
Just boring. I used to quite look forward to the Razzies. The Oscars then. Let's move on to the Oscars.
Okay, to the Oscars.
Yeah.
Well, it's not much better, is it? There's a couple more things to talk about with the Oscars, but ultimately it was just another boring year, really.
Pretty much.
There wasn't anything exciting, or there was no there was one at the end.
Yeah, well, there was no excitement in terms of all the winners were pretty locked in.
Yeah,
and that, with one exception, basically fulfilled itself.
Yes, exactly.
Like last year, what was favourite for Best Picture?
Last year?
Yeah, last year.
Oh God.
Was it? It was 1917.
Yeah.
I feel like it was between that and another film.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
I just when the awards go, you just forget.
Yeah, it's just like, oh well, yeah, that's out of my brain now.
I used to, I had an encyclopedic knowledge of the Oscars up till about 2012.
The first episode of this podcast was basically Eddie going. It was like there was a whole segment of Eddie naming a year.
Yeah.
And you would name all of the Best Picture nominees.
Yeah.
And in the end, it went on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we just went, let's cut this.
Yeah, what was the point
What
of
is the
that?
point of this? Like, it's not even a case of, look how impressive Sam is, because it's an audio platform.
Yeah,
you could be looking it up. Yeah. What would I type in? 2020?
The point is, the last few years, I don't remember, in a line who won Best Actor and who won Best Actress. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was 1917, and...
it was... Suspense.
Well, I know...
Every moment could be a comedic moment.
Jojo Rabbit was up, Joker was up, Little Women, Marriage Story, The Irishman.
Yeah.
But I'm forgetting I feel like there was another main contender.
It was, Parasite, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I feel like 1917 and Hollywood were the two frontrunners.
Yes.
And then Parasite won.
Well, 1917, it was an historical drama.
Yeah.
Ahistorical, which is ridiculous. I don't know where that came from.
Well, you're supposed to do that for all H's, really.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't, do we?
No. It depends on the company, I guess. But,
it's an historical drama with some truth to it, and it's a very filmmaker-y film.
Yeah. It's an easy win.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's about Hollywood.
It's about Hollywood.
They love films about films.
Yeah, exactly. Like the artist, all that. Anything that celebrates
cinema. And Tarantino has never won Best Picture, so it seems like a career award as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It would satisfy the Oscars, because look at us talking about last year's nominees during this year's segment.
I know.
But it would satisfy the Academy in the sense that it's a film about Hollywood, which is a thing that they enjoy.
Yeah.
It's about real life events. It's all like alternate history, but it's about real life events to a degree. And it was a fairly universally liked film because people like Tarantino films.
Yes.
So it sat on the intersection of sort of the perfect winner.
Yeah, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, it was Parasite.
I think, because going into it as well, I think Hollywood won the Critics' Choice. It might have won the Globe as well.
Yeah.
And 1917 won the Globe and the BAFTA. They were definitely the front runners. And then all of a sudden, Parasite wins. And it was a major surprise. But even before that, when that wasn't even a kind of possibility, we went in thinking that there was a competition between Hollywood and 1917. Who was it going to be?
Yeah.
None of that this year.
No.
None of that. It's like all the winners were definitely decided.
Yeah. It was clear what was going to happen, and it pretty much happened.
Pretty much did. Yeah. So what do we think then? I mean, editing is your bailiwick.
Yeah, like what was that? Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal.
Like Sound of Metal, I wouldn't have nominated Sound of Metal, but that's purely on the fact that Sound of Metal wasn't really doing anything worthy of, like, it wasn't exemplary of anything.
Yeah, it wasn't extraordinary.
Yeah, it was well edited in the way that basically any film
at a certain level
is well edited.
Yes.
Of the nominees, I think The Trial of the Chicago 7 won for me personally. Anyway, that was my pick for best edited film, because apart from like a couple of little kerfuffles which we talked about way back in our review of it, in episode 30, whatever it was, like apart from those two little things, it's basically perfectly edited.
Yes.
And it's one of those films that's able to juggle 10 characters' perspectives across 3 different frames of time in one sequence flawlessly without you losing track.
It's deceptively well edited, isn't it? Because you never think about... I never did anyway.
No, exactly.
Like you have a film like Baby Driver, we know it's good editing.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, the best films obviously don't really notice it.
No.
I don't know how the voting thing is arranged with the Academy. Because with, you have the various Guild Awards, don't you? We've talked about this before, but they are voted for by practitioners in that industry. Writers Guild is voted for by the writers, screen actors, etc., etc. I don't know how the Academy works. I think they just have members.
Yeah.
And they all vote for editing and that sort. I think editing is generally they're bad at determining who the winner should be.
Yeah.
Because there are some good ones over the years, like Bourne Ultimatum and things like that. Really well edited.
But then you have
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
And I think the reason that one, other than maybe, award being bought by Brian May, is that people really like that Live Aid sequence.
They really like that Live Aid sequence, and it's put together. I would say that's more of a triumph of visual effects.
I agree.
Than it is of editing.
Yeah.
And directing, yeah. But also, what other people have pointed out as well with Bohemian Rhapsody, it's very obviously edited.
Yeah, but that is badly edited.
It's badly edited, because that's the thing. Like, you should not see editing.
No.
You should not notice editing. And if you do, there's a reason for it. The film has a reason for revealing itself to you.
Yes.
But Bohemian Rhapsody, it's badly edited because you see the editing. The problem there, though, is because you can see the editing, people go, oh, that's edited, that is.
Exactly.
Oh, it must be good.
Yeah. Yeah, and because the things around it are good.
Yeah.
Like when you watch a bad film and it's badly edited, you recognise it's bad.
Yeah.
But when a film where the production design is good and the directing is adequate, then you assume you're noticing it for a good reason.
Yeah, exactly.
We watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and more so weirdly with Batman Begins, I watched that and thought, fuck, the editing is good.
Right.
I don't know why, but it was like, this is such a really well edited film.
That's the thing. Like with Batman Begins, I was noticing the editing.
You was or wasn't?
I was.
Yeah.
More so than The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is just like, it's perfection, basically.
It is flawless.
It's a flawless piece of filmmaking.
Like, it's not. There are micro things.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
It's basically perfect.
Yeah, it's basically
it really
perfect. But with Batman Begins, I was noticing the editing, but also like the briskness of the film.
Yeah, I
kind of compensated for any slightly like, oh, that was a cut.
I think part of the reason, right, is that Nolan time jumpy thing, which they do in Batman Begins, and they don't do it all in The Dark Knight.
No,
might be one of his only films that does that. Where they don't, it's not messing with time at all. It's just a straightforward.
Oh yeah. No, it is start to finish. Isn't it? Yeah. You kind of need to be start to finish to tell that story because it's about there's decay. So much to do. The decay of the city and those characters, and you can't really do that jumping up all over the place. Can you?
So I think Sound of Metal was awarded. It's a well edited film. Yeah, but I think people associate. I think did Whiplash won editing, didn't it?
It did.
And I think there's this maybe idea.
I'm pretty sure it did. That'd be embarrassing if I just declared it with confidence.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it won for like technical, like sound and all that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe there's this kind of intuition that films about music, if they're well done, should be awarded editing.
Yes.
Because they're sometimes confusing sound editing with film editing.
There is that. Yeah.
And I think Sound of Metal, because of that, the sonic scape of that film, the soundscape, and it won for sound rightly.
Yeah,
but that is the exemplary thing about that film. It's a good performance, and Paul Raci as well.
Yeah,
but the sound really is what is the standout feature of it.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it got the film editing nod, and because it's about music, because it's about a drummer. You think, oh yeah, it's a well edited film.
Yeah,
your memory of it is kind of false.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of an interesting case because with editing, like if you're editing to music, that's actually the easiest editing that you can possibly do.
Absolutely, yeah, because it's already in signature and
exactly. It's sort of presented the rhythm of the scene to you.
Yeah,
because as an editor, that's like there's things that you need to keep an eye on, like continuity and everything.
Yeah,
but like one of the things that people have observed about Scorsese films is they're incredibly well paced, incredibly well put together, masterful pieces of filmmaking, but they're filled with like tiny continuity errors where they've clearly like stitched different takes together.
Yeah.
And what's her name? The editor? His editor?
Thelma Schoonmaker?
I think that's her.
Yes.
I think she has said multiple times, like, I really don't care. Because the point is that you have to put together a scene with rhythm and flow and timing, and you can't... There comes a point where you just can't let continuity get in the way of that.
I really admire that. Yeah.
Why would you sacrifice your best takes for the sake of like a little detail in the
background? Valuing it like that highly.
Yeah.
Because I think we are probably prone to that a little bit. Like if something with this continuity was slightly off, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's got to be Parasite. It's got to be flawless.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So I really admire. Yeah, it's because films are dreams.
Yeah.
So as long as you're basically getting the impression
exactly,
this is not an excuse for bad editing.
No. But, of course not.
But
no, like that was my point. Was like if you're editing to music, that rhythm is being presented to you. You're not.
Yeah.
As the editor,
Baby Driver.
Yeah. You don't have any work to do.
Tarantino writes to music, apparently, doesn't he? Like the rhythms, the dialogue to music, and you definitely can see that.
Yeah.
But I think in The Departed, one I always notice is at the beginning when Jack Nicholson gives young Matt Damon, he puts a bunch of coins in his hand. He opens his hand, and then there's a tiny cut, and then he slaps the money down to his...
Yeah.
But you don't even really notice it. It's just like the film has that energy.
Yeah.
So why not? There's a tiny cut there for no reason whatsoever, you know? But yeah, I think Sound of Metal, while not a glaring upset.
But that's what I was going to say. Like, that's what's interesting about Sound of Metal. Yes, there's a musical component to it.
Yeah.
But a lot of that film does take place in silence, or like an approximation of silence.
Yeah.
So that is a situation where that editor is having to like contrive that rhythm. They have to find the rhythm within the scene.
Yes.
So in that sense, like I can understand why it's pushed it a little bit above the competition.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it is just kind of, as we say, when you get above a certain level, everything's just kind of great anyway.
Yes.
On a technical level.
Yes.
You're not going to get a film that's nominated for the Oscars that's like badly shot or badly edited or has weird sound choices, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because I think American Graffiti is often credited with it's not a well-directed film, it's a well-edited film. And the editing elevates the film.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a film and thought, that was really brilliant. The only thing that sucked was the editing.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have a good film without good editing.
It's kind of like...
It's like writing.
Yeah, it's like writing. It's like screenwriting. If you have a bad script, you can make a bad script well, but it's still a bad script.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no getting around a bad script.
No.
Yes, like, what's that Ryan Gosling film? Lost River?
Oh, yeah.
Like, beautiful cinematography and all that, but a shit script.
Yes.
And there's no getting away from that.
No, absolutely not.
So I think we agree that Chicago 7 should probably have taken home that award.
It should have taken home a few awards. It should have taken
at least one.
Yeah.
One would have been nice.
Anything, you know? I didn't mind that Sacha Baron Cohen didn't win.
No. Like, I don't think that was even the outstanding performance in that film.
No, exactly. Yeah. So it was sort of understandable that he didn't get recognition for it. I think it should have won original screenplay.
Absolutely.
Like, we talked about how we were surprised by Promising Young Woman. Like, it wasn't what we were expecting it to be.
Yeah.
And what it ended up being, it was like a good version of that.
Yes.
But it wasn't The Trial of Chicago. You're not Aaron Sorkin, Emerald Fennell.
No. Again, at the risk of hubris... There are films you watch sometimes and you go, that's really good, and I feel like I could maybe do that someday. And then there are certain things, not necessarily because they're better, but so an example I always bring up is Breaking Bad, okay? Because of how mechanically constructed that is. In my, most optimistic moments, I look at that and I go, I don't see why someday I couldn't make something as good as Breaking Bad. But Fargo... Look, and I go, I couldn't do that.
No.
I couldn't do season 2 of Fargo. It's just that balance of absurdity and everything, But that doesn't mean it's better than Breaking Bad. It's just a different kind of skill set.
Yes, exactly.
I look at Promising Young Woman and I go, yeah, I could write that. That's not beyond my capabilities.
Yeah.
Chicago 7, I'm not saying totally beyond, but that would be a lot harder.
Yes, it really would,
Yeah, like all the research and just, balancing all that.
It really is the balance. And I mean, it's an achievement for the script as well as the editing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that it's juggling so much so effortlessly.
Yeah.
And that's probably due to his time with Fincher, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know that like The West Wing did that as well, where it was like multiple characters talking. But like it would often break them down to like a couple of characters in a room. Like people having... It wouldn't be... You'd have multiple things going on, but they would be going on in pockets.
He's a playwright, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Whereas no, with Fincher, it's like everyone is in the mix all the time.
Yeah.
And he's clearly, you can see that in Chicago 7.
Well, it's it's probably an uncool thing to say almost. It's like entry-level film fan thing to say. And I know that it's very writery, and I know that as a writer, you're expected to value the more understated writers. But I do think Aaron Sorkin is the greatest living screenwriter, and it's a shame. I mean, he has many projects ahead of him, but he's won an adapted screenplay. It would have been nice for him to win an original screenplay as well. to cement that.
As you say, there's still time.
He's not in his 80s, is he?
And I know he's a director now.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he is a screenwriter that people know the name of is proof that he's probably the greatest living screenwriter, isn't it?
It's him, it's Charlie Kaufman, Tarantino.
Well, Tarantino's writer-director.
He's writer-director.
That's the thing. You think of a writer, they're typically a writer-director.
Yes.
Whereas
that's true. Like Woody Allen, I think.
Yeah, until, what was it, Molly's Game?
Yeah.
Until that, Aaron Sorkin was just pure, unfiltered screenwriter.
Yeah, he and Charlie Kaufman, I think they're the only two that you know them for writing.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Oh, yeah.
For very good reason. But and I love Kaufman's scripts, but he does disappear up his own derriere. And Sorkin has done that with The Newsroom.
Yeah.
But generally, he's well behaved, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, you know, they all talk like Aaron Sorkin, but who cares when it's that good, you know?
When it sounds like that.
Yeah,
it's fine.
When it's music,
yeah.
You know. Yes, and now they're in production on his new film, the one about I Love Lucy, the behind the scenes of I Love Lucy.
Oh, okay, all right.
And if he spends the rest of his career doing behind the scenes of famous things, I'll be happy with that. If it's all Steve Jobs and Moneyball and the social network, whatever, just keep doing that.
Just keep doing
forever.
it, yeah.
And I like that he's directing now, because now that he's confident doing it, it seems to me that he doesn't have to wait for a director to get on board. You know, it's like, I'll just write the scripts and then I'll go make it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, Chicago 7 has just happened and they're shooting his next film.
Yeah.
Let's just do the Woody Allen, a film a year, like forever.
Well, like The West Wing, like 24 episodes.
If he can do that, you know, he did do that on crack cocaine.
He did do it on crack cocaine, you know.
Yeah.
But 24 episodes a season, one season a year.
Yeah, he wrote 12 films a year.
Insane.
Yeah, that is insane.
Fucking insane.
Yeah. That will now, as Bradley Whitford pointed out in the reunion, that had never been done before, and it will, because of the way TV works now, never be done again.
It'll never be done again.
Yes, it's quite the...
Like, Stephen King writes, 6 pages a day?
Oh, yeah.
But that's not Aaron Sorkin.
No, and it's just, you know, he's a novelist. He can do... All he's got to do is write those 6 pages a day. The West Wing, all the things you have to consider, you know, the production of it, and all Stephen King has to do is write.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the Oscars.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so Chicago 7 should have won something. What won cinematography? It was Mank.
Mank, yeah.
Happy with that.
I was happy that Mank won something.
It won a couple, didn't it?
Yeah.
It won that and production design.
I think so, yeah.
If it deserved anything, it was that.
Yeah. I mean, like, given the year that it has been, Mank wasn't going to win.
No.
Like, we were just talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and how, like, they love films about Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, at the moment in America, there are other things taking priority.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate for Mank because it's black and white as well. And it's filmed to feel like a film that existed in the 40s.
Yes.
When Citizen Kane was made. So, like, it's a filmmakery film. It's about Hollywood. It's got, like, that incredibly strong central performance. It's a posthumous...
That script
is posthumous. Like, you know... There's a lot going for it. It's just unfortunate that it came out when
it's his most mature film in a sense, isn't it? Because even though he's not exactly a mainstream please the pundits, the punters, not pundits, please the punters director, they've all been dark and for adults. But, you know, 7, it's still a thriller. Yeah. And Gone Girl is a thriller. Yeah. The Social Network is obviously, the subject is accessible. And, whereas Mank, it's such like a mature, for not just for adults, it's for adults who have an attention span.
Yes.
And, you know, really want to sit down and engage with this kind of heavy material.
It has to be because of his father, right? That's why he's behaving himself. It's just I have
honour that script.
Yeah, I have to honour that script and give it the justice that it deserves.
Yeah. And so, it was nice that it won what it did. I'm happy it beat Nomadland. Not that the cinematography of Nomadland is bad, but I just think it's... part of the reason it won, right, is because the crew was like 6 people for Nomadland.
Right.
It was just 6 of them walking around these vistas.
Okay.
And it is impressive, technically impressive. But I just think you don't have to try that hard to make vistas look beautiful.
Yeah.
You film a happy hour, the golden hour sometimes it's called, isn't it? And that's all you have to do. That's why every student film that's near a beach is filmed on a beach.
It's filmed on a beach.
Because you don't have to do anything.
That's the thing. Like, it's not impressive for a cinematographer to make a beach look as good, good. It's impressive if they make an office look good.
Yes.
Because that is the
Mank.
Social Network, Mank. They are not inherently attractive locations.
No.
You have to impose that on it.
Yes.
And still make them feel natural.
Yeah. So, very happy it beat Out Nomadland.
Yeah.
There was because obviously Paul Raci was up and he is fluent in American Sign Language.
Yes.
And I think when he was on the red carpet, all of his interviews, he was doing sign language.
Oh, okay.
As well as,
that's neat.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
And a lot of articles have been written about how wonderful it was and how it's a step forward for inclusivity.
Oh, right.
And I just think, I don't want to sound like an utter cunt who's complaining about there being sign language, because, obviously not.
Yeah.
And it's a live event. Okay, I acknowledge that. But we can't, to be so vituperative about in lauding all the sign language, we can't ignore the innovation that was subtitles.
There is that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's not like all of a sudden deaf people can enjoy the Oscars.
Yeah, they could before.
Yeah. So it's a bit like, let's just calm it down.
And also, it's his, were they crediting him or were they crediting the Oscars?
Well, I think there might have been an ASL interpreter there on the night as well. Right, okay. There might have been.
Okay.
Again, it's not like I have a problem with that.
No, I was just I was going to say, if the idea is it's a step forward, the Oscars are finally including, well, if it was just Paul Raci doing that, it's not really the Oscars achievement, is it? That's probably something he decided to do on his own.
Yeah.
Because he could.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the structure was interesting. I think the most interesting thing about it, because, actually, quick little, I think you quite like this, because it props up your pursuit. Harrison Ford presented the editing Oscar.
Okay.
And he basically decided to read out editing notes for Blade Runner.
Okay.
And said these were all criticisms of how crap the film was in its first cut, and basically saying how the editor made it what it is. And anyway, I think you'd like that.
Okay. Star Wars as well. Star Wars was saved in editing.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think if you look at scripts for the original Star Wars and you look at test footage that they shot, it's all appalling. Star Wars is it the most overrated film of all time? Well, it's one of the most hyped things ever.
Well, it's the most, in terms of the passion that the fans have for it, probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. So just by ratio, it probably is. Not even talking about whether it deserves it or not, just the amount of attention Star Wars is given.
Every vaguely genre or geeky writer in their 40s and 50s, Star Wars is their favourite thing.
Yeah.
To a man.
Yeah.
They're like, one of my earliest memories was going to see
Star Wars in the cinema, yeah.
That's fair enough. It's a spectacle, and it's the Joseph Campbell monomyth thing. Yeah. So it has a kind of almost biological resonance.
Yeah.
That story really means something to me. But it's not that good. The script.
Oh, Sam's hot take now.
Well, no, look, I'm 26, and I saw the things that it inspired, but it was inspired by loads of things.
It wasn't just it emerged from the ether.
Yeah, serials of the 50s and the 40s, and it's, you follow that monomyth. It's not that hard to build that world. And I've never been a big Star Wars guy,
on a fundamental level, it's the way that world was brought to life that people have really resonated with, isn't it? It's the innovations they made in special effects and the fact that the film was saved by the technicians.
So what was so bad about it then?
I think it just it was just the way that it was put together and what was going on. There are probably plentiful resources out there for people who want to go and look at what differences there were between Star Wars pre-release and Star Wars post-release.
Okay. Did it look more like that Argo film?
A little bit, yeah. I think it was a Red Letter Media video where they showed one of the clips, and it's just it's Lando and Luke just wandering, meandering behind a hut, and they're drinking out of cans.
Right.
It's what? I don't know what this is.
Okay.
this isn't the Star Wars that I came to know.
No.
Yeah.
Lando's not in Star Wars though, is he?
Oh, I don't know.
Empire. He makes his first appearance.
Oh, have I just committed a taboo?
You have, yeah. Nerd taboo.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the structure of the evening was interesting.
Okay.
I thought it was quite crap. I always think the Oscars are crap. I actually preferred it to what it usually is. Obviously, it's usually in the Kodak or Dolby theater.
Yeah. Why do we think that is? Why do you think that they uprooted half of the homeless population out of that train station?
Yeah.
Why do we think that is?
I don't know. It's like, we're not going to use that massive theatre because there aren't enough people to fill it.
The only thing I can think of is, they didn't want to project an image of a mostly empty theatre.
Yeah, I think that is what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll make it look like a glitzy...
The BAFTAs didn't give a shit. They were in an empty theatre.
Yeah. And the Emmys. They didn't really see the theatre, but... Yeah. But I guess the Oscars think that they have to set the tone or set the trend.
I suppose.
You know? So, because the rule was when the camera's on you, you take your mask off, but when it's not... You've got to put it back on.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
No, it really doesn't, does it?
Because what are they saying? What's the point?
Well, they're supposed to be it's to project this image of, it's okay.
Yeah.
Not wearing the mask is okay.
But the thing is, Hollywood, all that, they're like very, very pro-mask. Pro-quarantine and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I know Hollywood said, we're not going to, we're not going to allow people on Zoom to accept.
Yeah.
And I like that. Good, because I don't want that to become the default. But if they wanted to promote wearing masks, you'd show them wearing masks.
You'd show them wearing masks. And if the idea is that you don't want an image of like Helen Mirren wearing a mask out there in the world, like, okay. But
they said...
it's contradictory to...
Yeah. Regina King said at the start of the ceremony, everyone here has been tested, double tested. Well then...
But why are you wearing masks?
Yeah, it's irresponsible. Like, don't wear masks then.
Yeah.
We need to be at the point now, that's said on the last one, I think, where the example we're setting is, if people have been vaccinated, they don't wear masks when they're on television.
Yeah. To
show that it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking wear a mask forever.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so the structure of the evening, since the 1940s, you always end with Best Picture, because of course you do.
Oh, because that feels like the end of the Oscar discussion, doesn't it?
Yes, was there more you had to say?
I have one more thing that I want to briefly bring up.
Go on then.
Are you aware of the controversy surrounding, I think it's called Two Distant Strangers?
Yes, I know what it is.
It won live action short at the Oscar. The premise is it's about a black guy played by Joey Badass.
Yes.
Yeah. I only remember that because he was in Mr. Robot. I'll be honest with you.
And the cop is the Russian Red Scare from Watchmen.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's Welsh.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Okay. Is this like Welsh men playing Russians? What's going on there?
Yeah, that's strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the premise. The premise is it's this black guy who's caught in a Groundhog Day style time loop, and it always ends with him being killed by this cop.
In different ways.
In different ways.
Yeah.
Now, this is we're recording 1st of May, right?
Yes.
Okay, as far as I'm aware, this is a very new allegation. So by the time this episode comes out, I don't know where this is going to sit in pop culture or if people are even going to find out about it. There's somebody called Cynthia Kao, I think her name is.
Kao.
Kao. That is cow, right?
Yeah, okay, right. Okay,
Yeah.
Asian, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was a bit worried to call her a cow for no reason.
Sea cow.
Sea cow, yeah.
Manatee.
But that is her name, Cynthia Kao.
Okay.
She made a film, a short film, in 2016 that she released on YouTube called Groundhog Day for a Black Man.
Oh, right.
In which a black guy is pulled over by a cop and he's caught in a time loop, and every day that ends with the cop killing the guy. Now, that in and of itself is not incriminating, is it? Because despite the specificity of the idea, especially in the post-George Floyd world, it's an idea that multiple people could feasibly come up with on their own.
I think especially now, there's a lot of genre stuff whose purpose is to explore kind of racial injustice. Watchmen, Lovecraft Country, that time travel film, the crappy Netflix time travel film with the black people.
Oh, that's the thing. I was going to bring that up as well. Like Netflix have already done something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a time loop, but it's time travel in which she's going back to stop her brother being killed by the cops.
Yeah, and the terror, actually, but that's dealing with Japanese Americans in World War II. But the point is there's increasingly a lot of genre stuff dealing with, trying to deal with those kind of themes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she made that film in 2016. Then George Floyd happened 4 years later. And Now This. Are you familiar with Now This?
No.
They're basically Lad Bible. They describe themselves as like a progressive social media news network. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird, because I think Lad Bible, if I'm remembering correctly, Lad Bible started out as just they would just post videos like, you're not going to believe what this dog does next.
Right.
Like that was Lad Bible. And then when they realized that they had a significant following, they started to deviate over into news as well. So now they kind of have two strands. It's those memeable dog eating a banana, those videos.
Yeah.
This guy is cycling down a hill at top speed.
Yeah.
And Trump is evil, like all that shit.
That's basically loud Bible.
Yeah. Whereas I think Now This is the other way around. They used to be called Now This News, where they were just purely a news network,
right?
And then they realized that posting those memeable, bite-sized videos was getting them more attention, so they sort of moved over into doing that a bit more.
Right.
But they contacted her after George Floyd, and they said, "We've seen your short on YouTube, and we found it quite powerful. So would you mind if we were to share it on our social media platforms?
Right.
We will, of course, give you credit, and we will direct people back to the original video." She was like, "Yeah, all right." So they did. They posted on their social media and on their YouTube channel, and I don't even think they posted the whole video. They kind of broke it up into chunks.
Right.
I was like, if you want to see the full thing, go to cynthiacow.co.uk or wherever it was. Then a year later, Two Distant Strangers.
Yeah.
Two different? Two distant?
Distant.
Two Distant Strangers comes out.
Yeah.
Very similar premise. Now This was one of the producers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Cynthia Cow is nowhere in the credits.
Right.
There's no suggestion that this is adapted material. There's no allusion to the original film. Netflix and Now This, as far as I can see, have been completely silent on the matter, despite the fact that she's brought this to the public's attention. So yeah, the film that just won Best Live Action Short is probably plagiarized.
Doesn't do a lot for the reputation of Black Americans when
you know what? I didn't know how to bring that up.
When the filmmakers have been done for larceny. Or been accused of larceny.
I think, in fairness to the filmmakers, because like I open this by saying it's an idea that multiple people could have, and I think the writer co-director is obviously he's a black man, Trayvon Free.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
And there's another guy that he co-directed with. I assume he's black as well. I'll admit that I don't know.
I know one of them definitely is. I remember
Trayvon Free.
Yeah.
He now has a deal with Apple TV.
Yeah.
To make he's writing a film starring Idris Elba.
All right.
So his career is starting to take off now because of this film.
Yeah.
And it's tarnished. Like, if this does become a bigger thing, that's going to tarnish his reputation. Because this guy was like, he wrote for The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. He's written for like a couple of late night shows. He's made that short film, and now this is obviously the launching pad to an actual career. And it's built on, it's still alleged at this point, but it's built on plagiarism.
Right.
But I do think that, like, I don't think it's his fault. I think, like, in all likelihood, it's probably either Now This or Netflix who are at fault.
Well, this is the thing. You get a lot of these, especially in America, are obviously very litigious. A lot of claims, I don't know, Jaws, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a real example, but Jaws gets made, and then some university professor says, I wrote a book in 1969 about a shark that attacked. And then they usually come down to, I don't know who you are. How the fuck would I have read your manuscript?
Yeah.
Anyway. This is the kind of thing where I'd usually go, because, I'm very anti-conspiratorial thinking.
Yes.
I just go, it's a coincidence. As we just said, this stuff is happening more and more anyway.
Yeah, loads of people will have had this idea. Yeah.
But the fact that Now This produced it seems pretty...
That's the smoking gun, isn't it?
Pretty convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that must be annoying if you're Chloe... Not Chloe.
Yes, Cynthia.
So Chloe Zhao, yeah.
Chloe Zhao, Cynthia Cow.
Yeah.
That's not, we're not saying anything.
They have very similar surnames.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially since Trayvon Free is now Trayvon Free. Sorry.
Yeah.
Especially since his career is going to start taking off a little bit now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know why.
And it was built on theft. He's become a the very thing that he criticizes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Chloe, I've done it again. Cynthia Cow is the Native American to his colonialist.
That's the thing. I really don't know why they did that.
What, just ripped it off?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that either it was like too much hassle to get her involved.
Yeah.
Because I imagine they wanted to get this out in time for the Oscars. It was a very time-sensitive project because a film where a black guy keeps getting killed by the police, that's obviously going to win awards.
Yeah.
Let's get this out now.
Yes.
In like, as soon after George Floyd is humanly possible, we'll get it out. That's all I can think. It's just like, for whatever reason, it was statistically difficult. So now this were either just like, oh yeah, we have distribution rights. It's fine. You don't have to get her involved. Or Netflix just went, well, we just won't get her involved. And if she kicks up a fuss, we'll just like bully her with lawyers until she shuts up.
Yeah.
But this was made in 2016, right? So like, surely that's like a good thing. promotionally speaking, you can go, the fact that this was made in 2016 is proof that, like...
How prescient.
Even though George Floyd happened in 2020, this problem existed long before him, and this is proof of that. And the fact that she's an Asian woman is proof that us black people, we're not making it up. We're not being hyperbolic. Like, this problem is being recognised across racial boundaries.
Well, while knowing nothing about the details of this, that is the only dimension that makes me think of why she was excluded. We don't want, if we want people making this film, we want black people doing it. We don't want an Asian
we wouldn't want to be, we wouldn't want to be seen taking the voice away from a black person.
Culturally appropriate their pain.
So instead, we're going to take the voice away from an Asian woman.
Yeah, I mean,
and not just that, like an Asian woman.
There's a rampant though anti kind of Asian American thing with the left kind of in the world.
Oh, I know, but like that's the thing. Like they're not just taking a voice away from Cynthia Cow. Like, she, as far as I know, because this was revealed on her TikTok, I think. It wasn't like an official account. It was just like, by the way, everyone, I had my film stolen and I was...
Well, that's not a relative of hers. That's the app.
No, Sam, that is the app. Okay, don't be like that now.
I just keep thinking, ting tong macadang dang.
Well, don't do that. You got to get out of that.
Sorry.
As far as I know, she is an unknown.
Well, yeah.
Whereas Trayvon Free, he's written for fucking Jon Stewart and all of the late night shows.
Oh, right,
he's made it.
I gotta say that Joey Badass, that name now, instead of connoting, badass rap star, it just intellectual property theft now. Like, he really is a badass. I suppose he probably knew nothing about it, did he?
No.
I'm gonna Google the winners, the filmmakers behind Two Distant Strangers.
Okay.
Just because I want to see if they're both black gentlemen.
Yes, I would assume they are. Sort of reinforcing that idea that you can only tell stories within your demographic.
Yeah.
Which we disagree with.
Yes.
All the time.
You know what? I think one of them might not be. One of them might not be black.
Right, well that makes even less sense as to why you would exclude her.
Yeah. Directors of Oscar winner.
Like, if you didn't think that she was fit enough to actually make the film...
Yeah.
Put her in, like, special thanks to or something. Like, put a name in the credits.
Yeah, one of them's white. Martin Desmond.
Okay, alright. Alright, well, I have no idea then why this has happened.
No. I guess because they just didn't own the rights to her thing. It's like, we'll just produce it ourselves instead of buying the rights and then producing it as well.
Yeah, but...
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a 4-minute YouTube video. No one's gonna... give a shit if we just make, if we make an Oscar-winning half-hour film based on it.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, Netflix have said nothing. Now this have said nothing. Trayvon Free has said nothing.
Watch the space, I guess.
Yeah, see, like, by the time this episode comes out, it might be big news. It might still remain in obscurity. But yeah, like, of all the little controversies that happened at this year's Oscars, I think that's a pretty shitty one.
They do that all the time, though. Whenever it's award season, all of a sudden... studios and publicists start sniping at the other films to try and undermine their chances of winning. It happens every year.
I mean, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I am assuming that she is just a lone party in all this. She's an unknown who just made a film a while ago and she's bad luck has been bestowed upon her. But like, it was on a TikTok. It didn't have the air of like a calculated attack. It wasn't like 7 media outlets simultaneously went, did you know this woman had her film stolen?
Yeah.
Like, no, it was just, she posted on her TikTok. It's like, hi, I don't know if anyone will ever see this, but basically this has happened.
Yeah. She probably doesn't have that kind of infrastructure around it.
No, exactly, yeah. So we'll see if it gets picked up. But that's pretty shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty shit.
Yeah. Good, though, actually. I mean, not good for her, and, not good, really, but I'm just glad a film that, I'm guessing sanctimonious, it's got this kind of now... air of...
It's tainted,
around it. Yeah. Good. Anyway, so the final... Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that was the only one. Okay. I only bring that... I brought that up now because it felt like, even though, we're going to talk about Anthony Hopkins now, and I felt it weird to bring that up after we talk about
this is fair. But so the whole thing it was structured, always ended with best film. That's just the way you end it. Yeah. And they didn't do it this year.
No.
I think the director was like way earlier in the night as well.
Okay.
Arbitrarily. They had best film and then they ended with actress and then actor. Okay. And I think the only reason actress left to the end was because, well, if we do actor, we have to do actress at the end as well. Yeah. Frances McDormand won Best Actress,
Okay.
which I thought was a boring choice.
Yeah.
Just because this year it really was unpredictable. Actually, that category was the only unpredictable one going into it.
Yeah.
Because I think each of the nominees had won one of the major awards.
Right, okay.
One had won a BAFTA, one had won the Critics' Choice, one had won the SAG, and one won the Globe. Like, literally.
Okay.
So I thought, it's the obvious choice. Anyway.
Yeah.
So they ended with actor, obviously, because they knew that Chadwick Boseman was going to win.
That is the case, right? Because I've seen so many people say, how delicious it is.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, the whole night was clearly geared up to, like, the way that, obviously the typical politics that the Oscars spout whenever they show up. It's like, clearly we're building up to Chadwick Boseman being immortalized by him receiving an Oscar at the very end of the night. And that's how we crescendo the evening, and that's how we leave everyone with this wonderful, isn't it wonderful that this has happened?
Yeah.
No, fucking Anthony Hopkins
won. An old white man.
As a hobbying troll myself,
yes,
I couldn't have thought of a better way of ending the evening.
No, yeah, it was brilliant. And you just think, not because it's like, Boseman didn't win. There's nothing against Boseman.
No.
Because the thing is, right, I've seen The Father. You haven't yet, right?
No, we will talk about it when it does come out.
We'll review it.
Yeah, over here in the UK.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler for me to just say that Hopkins' performance is brilliant.
Yeah.
And
is it, worthy over Boseman's performance?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay.
I do think it was the superior performance.
Okay.
But that's not to say that, like, the Boseman... If Boseman had won, I wouldn't be too annoyed. Because it's a very good performance.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. We're not laughing at Boseman for losing. No. We're laughing at the Academy.
That's it. Usually when this happens, when Parasite beats Hollywood, it's like, yes, because we didn't like Hollywood that much.
Yeah.
This is not the case. Had Boseman won, well, it was obvious, but also... Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It was a very good performance. So it's not that. I hate the Academy. I hate the Oscars. So this is what that is. And the certainty that they arranged the night that way.
Yeah.
And it didn't go their way.
Yeah.
It did clarify the producers aren't in on it. Obviously.
Yeah, I suppose that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. It is just the few people that make those envelopes. But yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, have you seen it?
I know that he wasn't best pleased.
No.
To share that information.
Yeah. He comes out, which is weird, because we talked about this. The way they've always done it is the winner of supporting...
Oh, yeah, that was fucking annoying. Yeah.
The winner of supporting actress the previous year will present the award for supporting actor and vice versa.
And same with actor
and actress.
Yeah.
But they did it for supporting. Brad Pitt gave Yoon Ye-jung the award for Minari.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern gave Daniel Kaluuya the award, right? But yeah, for actor and actress, they had Renee Zellweger give McDormand the Oscar, and Phoenix give Hopkins the Oscar. I don't know why the fuck they did that.
The only reason I can think is that Joaquin Phoenix is the biggest star.
Yeah, we don't want Renee Zellweger in this historic moment. We want Phoenix.
We want the biggest star, which again is a bit like I thought you were supposed to be bolstering women's voices, Hollywood. Why have you not given this responsibility to her?
Yeah,
you bastards.
You bastards. So he comes out and he says something about. I'm supposed to talk about how all the performers disappeared into their roles, which is something that I don't think I've ever done, which is a bit annoying because maybe he is genuinely humble, or maybe he was fishing because in terms of disappearing into the role, Daniel Day-Lewis aside, I don't think that is said about an actor more than Joaquin Phoenix. Like proper method is totally different every time.
Yeah.
Anyway. So he said that, and so now I present the award. Anthony Hopkins, silence, and then a few. Anthony Hopkins is not here to collect the award.
That's what really made it.
Yeah. So the Academy accepts it on his behalf. Wasn't even there. He was at home. I think they said they wouldn't let him accept over Zoom.
Yeah.
So he just complete absence. This utter void, and then the camera pans over to Questlove saying. Well, that's it. Bye.
Cut to black.
Yes, basically. It was great. It was so great.
I love his attitude in general, though. Anthony Hopkins. He just doesn't seem.
Give a fuck.
He doesn't seem to care. Like
he's in his 80s. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, like 83, right?
Yeah.
Like in fairness to him, he did release like an acceptance speech the following day with on the backdrop of like the Welsh hills.
Yeah.
And he paid tribute to Boseman. It was very well calculated, very sincere, like acceptance speech. It was nice. But yeah, I think was it the BAFTAs. Where that was happening, he won, but he was like in the other room painting the wall. And like he heard cheering in the next room. He was like, I thought there was a football match on. I didn't realise I'd won. Like he just doesn't care.
It's a healthy attitude because it's like he's grateful to have won having with that speech, but he doesn't really care.
No.
Well, why would he's won an Oscar? You know, he doesn't need to win another one.
Yeah, he didn't need to win another one.
But no, I just love that attitude. I think that is the correct response to winning an award. But yeah, I'm glad he won, and that it wasn't so Boseman had to win. I like that they didn't adhere too much to that.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few articles, like Empire, they wrote a piece, and it was titled, Chadwick Boseman deserved better.
Right.
And the crux of it was like, we're not saying that that Hopkins shouldn't have won. By all accounts, it's a great performance. We're not saying that. But like, there needed to be some acknowledgement of him in the ceremony.
Okay.
Now, the one acknowledgement of him, I think the only one, was, or maybe Ma Rainey, the winners might have mentioned him or something. But he was in memoriam, obviously. And it ended with him. And it lingered for a few, which they always do. The most famous person who died that year, they end with them, and it lingers for like 1 or 2 seconds longer.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a bit out of order anyway, in my opinion.
Okay.
Given that, like, why do they deserve an extra second? Yeah, they were more famous, but they're not more important than all the other people that died.
No.
But I understand the impulse. But I thought ending it with him, yeah, that's fine. That is the appropriate spotlight on him.
Yeah.
Because Hal Holbrook had died that year. It's like, these actors have been working for 40, 50 years. I know we all liked Black Panther.
Yeah.
But if anyone deserves, it's not Boseman.
No, I know what you're saying, yeah.
But yeah, so I actually thought in terms of their treatment of him, it was exactly appropriate.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's, yeah. Other than that, boring. Nomadland won Best Film, as we all knew it was going to.
Yeah.
She won Best Director, as we all knew she was going to. And to be fair, I think in her acceptance speech, she said that she's travelled all over the world, and in her impression has been that most people are good, which is quite a nice message for this day and age.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah, that was nice. I'm not going to hate people just because they're black, just because they're white, just because they're a police officer.
They're cops, yeah. Good.
Yeah, good.
Good for him,
It's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of that, to be fair. I think Regina King at the start said something about, I know people don't like it when Hollywood preaches to them, but as the mother of a black son, I can tell you that these issues are real.
Okay.
They applauded her. And that was sort of it for all that nonsense.
Didn't sound like they had the opportunity to be preachy. Like, the show kind of hurried along, didn't they? Yeah.
It did. Yeah, well, it was still fucking it's always too long.
It's always too long.
And then they got Glenn Close to do an arse dance.
Right.
They were doing like a pub quiz thing.
Okay.
For some reason. Why, I don't know why they do this at the Oscars. Like when they had Ellen DeGeneres, we're all going to order pizza now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like this informal, like a cool anti-character.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal, do Hugh Jackman and Billy Crystal. Musical numbers and jokes and parodies. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Not this and then Glenn Close just started doing like this booty dance. It's like, God, this ceremony demeans everybody, doesn't it? No one leaves without something tarnished. No. Anyway, that was basically it.
Okay, so the Oscars 2021 or 2020?
Oh, no, actually, Nomadland. I want to briefly say about it winning Best Picture.
Oh, go on.
It's nice that a little indie one where the crew was so small and, such an unassuming film. And it's not a bad film. I suppose we can review it when it gets... It might have been released, actually, in the UK now.
Okay.
Maybe it's next... Maybe we'll review it on the next episode, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Right. I don't think it's all that great.
Oh, do you not?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's a fine film.
Like you whispered, it's not that great. It's fine.
Yeah. It is. It's fine. I don't understand this it's a masterpiece thing.
Okay.
It's a noodly
Is it
indie.
Is it a similar thing with Boyhood? Where Boyhood was touted as like this massive achievement, and you watch it, it's like, it's fine.
Nomadland is better than Boyhood. It will last. It will have a longer shelf life, longer half-life than Boyhood.
Yeah. But
it is a bit like, what was all that about?
Yeah, okay.
What was it? Nice little film, but not a Best Picture winner, in my opinion, anyway.
Okay.
Chicago 7 again, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. What would have made the most sense? Like, I'm talking now just like in the same way that... I don't know, actually. But like, if based on the year that we've had, what film would have made the most sense, quote unquote, to win?
I guess Judas and the Black Messiah, but that was never really in with a massive chance of winning Best Film.
Okay.
Judas and the Black Messiah. I mean, Chicago 7's got all that stuff. It's got the Black Panthers in it.
Yeah.
So some of that. Minari, I think, would have been a more conventional winner.
Okay.
Because it's a very American story. It's about the American dream. It's about immigrants. Right. It's got all that stuff going for it. I like Minari. It is a good film.
Okay.
I rewatched that and Nomadland after the Oscars because I didn't love either first time. So I should give them both another go. And Minari, my opinion went up.
Okay.
And Nomadland, it was statically,
Okay.
It's just a very good looking film.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it for the Oscars.
That's it for the Oscars.
Yes.
Okay.
You have question?
Do I?
Yes.
Oh, I suppose I do. Yeah, so I'm going to outline a situation that happened to me.
Go.
And I want you... Oh, not yet.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me what I should have done.
All right.
Okay?
You should have eaten the Freddo.
Cross-promotion.
Well, 2 weeks late.
Yes, yeah.
Probably another one by that point.
Yeah, oh God, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I'm going to be scared to ever come over this house again.
Just going to ambush you at the door with the camera phone.
I'm going to open the door and this gingerbread man is just going to be thrust deep down my throat.
Gingerbread man's a good idea, though. We'll do that one.
No.
Thank you for that.
No.
Continue.
No. No. Anyway, yeah. So this situation happened to me, and I want to know what I should have done.
Okay.
I went for a walk.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. No, I went for a walk because the weather was nice, and frankly, I need to go on more walks.
Yep.
But thanks.
That's all right. Well, I'm now your Chinese monitor, aren't I?
Yeah. Limiting the amount of Chinese food I can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went for a walk, and I ended up by the side of a river because I'd been walking for a little bit, so I thought I'll stop off here. And also it's a nice little beauty spot, so I'll just chill here for a little bit. So I sat on the edge of this river, sort of like on the top of a levee that was alongside the river. And on the other side of the river, down right by the riverbed, were these two girls. Now, we have had a conversation in previous podcasts about how 18 to 20-year-olds look like children to us now.
Yes.
But I'm pretty certain that these girls were, in fact, like 14 or 15. Okay. They were actually children.
Yes.
And they were just down by the side of the river, and they were, over there. And one of them decided, because it was a sunny day, and they were, like, down at the edge of the river, and like I said, there were levees on both sides, so it was relatively hidden from the public. She decided to take her top off.
Right.
I am now sitting at the edge of this river in full view of this underage girl who is now stripped off.
Yes.
I don't know if she had also taken her bra off as well. I didn't really want to check.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, she was far enough away as well that I couldn't really... If we were to look at each other, we would see each other.
Right.
There was nothing obscuring our view of each other.
Okay.
But, like, it's also feasible that she just, like, wouldn't have...
Just didn't twig that you were there.
Yeah, we wouldn't have twigged that I was there. Yes. As far as I could tell, because, I didn't really take the opportunity to thoroughly check.
Yes.
But as far as I could tell, she was topless.
Yeah.
What should I have... What do you do? What do you do in that situation? Because if the problem here, right?
Yeah.
If someone else were to stumble across that tableau, what they would see is this like blimp in his mid-20s sitting across from an underage girl who was stripped off, and they'll think, well, what a freak! He's obviously perving. Yeah.
Well, it's compelled voyeurism, isn't it? That's
I got there, like they were there before me.
Yeah.
But they stripped off, well, she stripped off after I got there.
After you got there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what was I to do in this situation? Genuinely now.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what I would do. I think it would depend on what kind of day I was having.
Right.
On some days, I would just leave. And so it doesn't matter that I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah.
On some days, I wouldn't, just because why should I?
That's the thing, isn't it?
Now, was she within earshot?
I would have to have shouted.
Okay, you would have had to have shouted.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you did elect to leave, that might draw attention to you.
That's the thing as well.
Oh my God, there's a guy that's been there.
What did he do? What did he do that he is now finished and now he's leaving?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're sure they're about like 13, 14?
That feels like a sensible guess, yeah.
Well, nothing bad is actually happening, is it? Because you're not looking at them.
No, I certainly wasn't after I realised what she'd done. Yeah, it's like, right, okay.
Yeah, you're not looking at them. You didn't choose that situation. It's not like you're a peeping Tom. You were just there, and then this thing happened. I mean, like, if you're in a nightclub and a girl all of a sudden gets her tits out, it's not like you know,
I didn't want
you
this.
can't be
what
done
are you doing?
For it,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, there's nothing actually wrong. It's really all just about how the thing looks, right?
Yeah.
It's all about optics.
Yes. And however you look at it, I don't come out of that situation looking good.
No.
But also, like, you know, like she decided to do that. Like, if we were at the beach, and she stripped off, not topless, but if she like was in like a bikini or something, like that would be fine. Right?
Where do we draw the line?
Outside perceptions, like, she's at the beach, she's in a bikini. Like, I would expect that. Yeah. But because it was just like by the side of this river that was sort of running through an industrial estate, basically. So it wasn't like, I'll just turn around so that I'm not looking at them. Because if I turned around, I'd be looking at like a bunch of factories.
Right.
So again, somebody comes across that situation. Why is that guy looking at a bunch of factories?
Yeah.
When like behind him are like these semi-naked underage girls. He's clearly like got mirrors, or he's like, you know.
I don't think that. I would just think he's trying too hard.
Yeah.
But it is tricky. I think the most viable things to do would be, as soon as she takes it off, you leave. So like, even if they do see you, they know that you're leaving because they've just done that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I know what just happened, and I will have no involvement in it.
Yes.
I will not participate.
Yeah.
Or you say, excuse me, can you put your top back on, please? I think those are the only two.
That feels
the two most viable.
That feels invasive to me, though.
It is. I gotta say though, I think that's probably the best thing, the actual thing that should be done in that situation.
Yeah.
Again, it would depend on my mood that day. But I think at my age now, if they were 13, 14-year-olds doing that, I would probably say, excuse me, I'm not, having a go.
Yeah.
But you're creating an awkward situation.
Yeah.
Can you please not do that?
Yes.
And I think any sensible 14-year-old is going to go, oh yeah, sorry, of course. Right?
Problem is, most of them are not sensible. So
no, they are, right? Not they're going to say, oh yes, of course, sir. But if they know you're there and you're like, don't do that.
Yeah, maybe not most of them, but it's also like quite possible that I could have gone, oh, excuse me. Like, given what's just happened, do you mind putting your top back on? They would go, oh, you perv, what are you doing?
So I'm telling you to put it back. Like, I was here the whole time.
Yeah.
You just done that now. I'm just avoiding a whole situation here.
Yeah.
They could well have done that.
Like, there's no threat here.
No, yeah, exactly.
I have no desire to do anything other than like maybe escape this situation.
That's the thing. Nothing really bad is actually happening.
No,
because you can trust yourself that you don't have any designs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but no one else does.
No.
I think that's the right thing to do. Because if you wanted to stay there, and why shouldn't you? It's your right.
Yeah.
So, please just put.
I know it's not exactly the same thing, but like we're hearing a lot at the moment about like, oh, women shouldn't have to modify their behavior just so men don't rape them.
Right.
It's like, well, why should I? Like, she stripped off. Why do I have to leave?
Well, yeah, like frankly.
Yeah, it's a nice river. I'm enjoying my past.
Well, and I'm not being funny. If they're 13, 14, you're 25. You're the adult.
Yeah.
Why should you have to? You should just tell them. Because it used to be the case, right, that anyone could tell off kids.
Yeah.
Right? And give them a little slap or whatever. I'm not saying you go...
I wouldn't know. No. Given what was going on. A little slap would have made things worse.
On the arse.
Yeah, no.
But I think you're well within your right to go, excuse me.
Yeah.
Not appropriate. Not okay. Then there's the third response, isn't it, that maybe you wouldn't anticipate, which is, no, I know you're there, and I've taken my top off.
Right.
No problem here.
Okay.
What would you have done had that occurred?
Had what? Okay.
If you had said to them, excuse me, I'm here. It's not cool. Put your top back on. They go, no, it's all right. We know you're there.
Oh, right. Yeah, at that moment, it's like, right, I have to get out now.
Because not necessarily they're doing it to seduce you.
Yeah.
But just that, like, they're comfortable.
Yeah, it doesn't...
It's like, because she did it for a tan, right?
Probably,
So it's just like being on the beach. It's like, yeah, so?
Yeah.
Grow up, dude.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it's not okay. You're too young for this to be an okay situation.
Yeah.
We're alone
Who
here.
are you to say what I should do?
Yeah. So, look, we're alone here. This isn't the beach.
Yeah.
No one's expecting you to have your top off here, and no one's expecting me to be sitting here with you opposite. So,
yeah.
I think, the appropriate thing would have been to say, sort yourself out, love.
Get your shit together.
together.
Put your clothes back on.
Yeah.
Be sensible.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have that in me, I don't think.
If they were in their 20s, it becomes a lot more complicated.
It does.
But for the age they were, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
For the age they were, I think the right thing would have been, no, put your top on.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you do?
I continued eating my pasty.
And how did it end?
Well, the pasty.
Happily? No, how did the...
No, stop. You see, I brought this up with you because I thought I'd be safe.
You are safe.
Because, like, if Eddie was here...
Yeah. No,
like, you know, generally, I trust Eddie.
Yeah.
But I know that if I brought this up with him, he'd be like, you want it. You wanted it. Like, no, Eddie, I really don't. I want an answer.
Yeah.
How
did it resolve?
It resolved with me, like, slightly shifting my way.
Crawling.
Away from it. No, so sort of like, I was looking straight forward and they were sort of like to the bottom left of my field of view. So I didn't have to turn my head to see them, but they weren't directly opposite. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of shifted my weight so that so they weren't in my peripheral vision anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, finished what I was doing, stayed there for a little bit just because I was taking a rest. And then I departed and they were still there as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah, thinking about it, maybe like the opening gambit shouldn't be put your top back on.
Yeah.
It's just be, hello, I'm here. Just so you know, I'm here. And then like see what they do. Either they go, oh shit, okay, I'll put the thing on.
Yeah. But again, that could be misinterpreted, couldn't it? Which is like she strips off. I'm like, oh hello,
I'm here. I don't Not depends how you couch it. If you just go hello.
Oh yeah. Don't do that.
If you just go, excuse me, you should
panic.
You should know that I'm here, okay?
Yeah.
And then depending on how they respond, if she's just like, yeah, I know. Then run.
I'm going,
run away.
Dad, can you come pick me up, please, now, right now?
Does that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
So I should have been the adult in that situation.
You should have let them know you were there.
Okay.
And gauge their response.
Okay.
Yeah. Because why should you have to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Should we wade into more inflammatory waters? Does that work?
It's an
interesting
it's a strange image, yeah.
But you get like fire on the water, don't you? Fire on the water.
Yeah.
Like when oil rigs burn, like there's fire on the water. Oil, I guess.
On the oil, yeah. The oil is on the water. The fire's on the oil.
I guess inflammatory water is oil, isn't it?
Okay.
So okay, yeah. Should we wade into oil?
All right. Let's get all oily.
Derek Chauvin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's an oily situation right there.
Yeah. Thoughts?
America. Yeah. Well, no, not anymore. It should be America. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Can you just like behave yourself for like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
We did a couple of episodes in a row where it was like there wasn't really anything for us to talk about, so we got a bit inventive with what we were doing. You know, I'll be asking questions about like what implication does a roller coaster inside of a maze carry, and just like weird shit like that.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the day after we recorded that episode, the results of the Chauvin trial came out.
Oh, was it?
Something like that. It was like a couple.
You were going home when the news broke.
Yeah. Literally, I was like getting into the car and you sent me the articles. Like, fuck, it's going to be like another 2 weeks before we record, another month before it comes out.
It's the only time our schedule's been a bit irritating. In that respect.
And not just the fact that like it's going to be ages before we have the opportunity to say our piece about Chauvin, but like the day after Chauvin, all of this other shit started happening. Like, woman with a knife, girl with a knife, getting shot by the police. It's like, oh, this is proof that there's systemic racism. Yeah. You got all this other shit that's going on as well. Like, slow down.
Yeah, steady on.
Slow down, America.
Well, that's what culture is now, isn't it? Yeah. Everything just moves so quickly. They forget about everything.
Yeah.
Well, as per when we wade into this oil, I wrote an article about it that I'll plug. It's called The Very Nasty Policeman.
Okay.
It's on my WordPress.
Okay.
The only reason I wrote it is because I knew it would be so long between the verdict and the podcast coming out. It's like, I've just got to get this out now.
Yeah.
So I don't want to reiterate everything that's in there. I suppose I'll let you kind of lead the conversation.
Oh dear. Okay.
Just because, again, I just don't want to recapitulate.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes. Okay.
We're both in agreement that it was kind of a wrongful conviction.
Okay. Right. Let's start laying the groundwork for stuff.
Okay,
all right.
Okay.
So Derek Chauvin. How long did it take them to come up with a guilty verdict?
I don't know how long, but it was basically like record breaking.
Yeah.
Unbelievably quickly.
It was very, very quick. To such a degree that people went, right, the speed in which they come to a conclusion probably means that he's being found guilty on the charges. And he was found guilty.
Guilty.
He was found guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter.
Yes. 3 different types of killing.
3 different types of killing. Somewhat contradictory.
Little bit.
And now he's going to prison, and we've talked about this before. I don't know if we talked about it on podcasts. We certainly talked about it just here. How could you... It was a confusing trial because there was evidence that was being presented that seemed to brazenly contradict the pre-established series of events.
Yeah, or at least create reasonable doubt.
Which is the point of a trial, right?
Yes.
To create reasonable doubt to the degree that you cannot convict them.
Yes.
Because it's not a clear cut, like this happened.
Well, any doubt is grounds for acquittal.
Yeah, exactly. There was footage, alternate footage that showed from a different angle that showed that his knee was actually closer to being on his shoulder blade than it was on his neck.
Well, I mean, here are the things that, again, this is from the article, but, it's important. Here are the things that didn't create reasonable doubt with the jurors. The fentanyl in the system.
Yeah.
Every other drug in his system.
Yeah.
The fact that he said he couldn't breathe before he was on the floor.
Yeah.
The fact there was no damage to his trachea or any of the arteries around his neck in the post-mortem report. The fact that he was speaking when he was on the floor, suggesting his airway wasn't obstructed.
Yeah.
The fact that the doctor for the prosecution said that he could determine how Floyd died just by looking at the footage.
Yeah.
All these factors, none of which were adequate, apparently, to create a modicum of reasonable doubt.
So you've got all of that stuff, which is like, the doubt that casts, I'd say that's somewhat reasonable.
Yes.
But also, is there any way that Derek Chauvin could have been found not guilty and America not burned to the ground overnight?
Well, okay. So,
I'm not saying that that's a good reason for him to be found guilty. I'm trying to diagnose the verdict in a way,
Yeah, we're doing the post-mortem, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, what killed this thing?
Yeah.
And it transpires that I think out of you, me, and Eddie, if anyone has a reputation as a cynic, it's probably me. But that's not true, I don't think. It turns out, because totally different subject, but when the Oscars were happening in 2019, go back to that, and Joker, we were talking about whether Joker would get Oscar nominations.
Yes.
And you and Eddie were like, it's Joaquin Phoenix is going to get nominated and the film will get... And I'm like, no, I have enough residual faith that because films still have to be critically acclaimed past a certain point to be nominated.
Yeah.
And like Bohemian Rhapsody, the Oscars won't do that.
Yeah.
And then they did.
They did.
And
they did.
With this, you said, everyone was saying they're going to find him guilty because if not, there are going to be riots.
Yeah.
And my thing was always, no, I've got enough residual faith in the judicial system because the lawyers would say to them, you can't think about that. This is a higher level of discourse than that.
Yeah.
We can't do it because there'll be riots.
We're here to sort of deliver actual justice, not mob justice.
Yeah, deliver actual justice and just the standards in law. You just think that you're disabused of all that kind of stuff. And my faith was not rewarded.
Right.
So it turns out that I'm a bit more of an optimist than I probably come across as.
Unrightfully so, it seems.
But unrightfully so, yeah. There's nothing to believe in anymore. There's absolutely nothing to believe in. Yeah. So should we go through, I guess, each charge?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So second-degree manslaughter. I think that is what's usually known as depraved heart murder.
Okay.
Is that, or is that third-degree murder? That might be third-degree murder. No, sorry, yeah. Second-degree manslaughter. It's basically reckless endangerment.
Okay.
So all they had to kind of prove for that was that he should have taken his knee off his neck when he was dead, and that's the easiest sell.
Yeah, I don't think there's many people that would dispute that he was probably...
I would, right?
Okay.
I would, but if he's going to be convicted of anything, I would be okay-ish with that. You know what I mean?
It's at least a sensible... It's a proportional charge.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Third-degree murder is depraved heart murder, which is when the test case that's always used is basically someone firing into a crowd, and like you didn't intend on killing Mark Smith.
Yeah, but Mark Smith is now dead.
But someone was going to die because of what you did.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
And then second-degree murder is they have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Chauvin was intentionally committing felony assault that resulted in death.
Right.
So basically beating the shit out of somebody and then they die. That's second-degree murder.
Yeah.
What do we think about those? About third and second degree?
Yeah, they're the trickier ones.
Well, third, I don't even know how it applies. I think when it first came to court, the judge was going to throw it out. Yeah, you can't. That doesn't...
Is the idea there that, like, if it wasn't George Floyd, it would have been somebody else? Is that what they were trying to...
I honestly have no idea how that has stuck.
Yeah.
Because, the judge genuinely said this... It doesn't apply.
Yeah.
But it stuck anyway, and he was convicted
of it, yeah. That's the only thing I can think of, is that if he didn't kill George Floyd in this manner, he would have killed somebody else in this manner.
I guess. Though I don't know how that compares to, like, firing an Uzi into a crowd.
And I also don't know how you can prove that, other than other than you have like Chauvin on tape saying, "Do you know what I really love? Kneeling on the necks of black people."
Yeah,
I don't really know.
If there's no opportunity today, I will find one tomorrow.
Don't care who it is.
Yeah,
don't care at all. Yeah. But I'm going to do it. You can't stop me. Like, other than that, how on earth do you prove what Chauvin might have wanted to do?
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the hold he had on him is the one that's sanctioned by the Minneapolis Police Department.
Yes, I mean, that started another conversation about those methods, like whether the police are being taught the right de-escalation. Well, no, de-escalation is something they should be taught instead of these methods that they are teaching them.
I think
which is sort of ties into this stabbing, which we might talk about a little bit as well.
Yeah, we will. I think what's uncontested, we're all in agreement that the police could be better trained. Always, obviously. That sort of thing could always be better.
Yeah.
And if you had Sam Harris talk to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert about basically the martial arts community is in stunned amazement that the police aren't taught anything like that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it's a recent one, so I recommend people listen to it. Like the world leading practitioner of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, something Henny or Hanny. Anyway, Gracie. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
He was basically like going through the hours that they get of training in certain respects, and it's disproportionate to basically every other profession in the world.
Okay.
The amount of time carpenters are trained, and the police get this amount of training each month, and it's like ridiculously small.
Okay.
They're so underprepared for their job.
Yeah.
Where people could have a gun, and there's so many factors. So yeah, we're not disputing that they could be better trained.
But the important factor here is that Chauvin was not operating outside of
it's what they're
authorized.
Told to do.
Like it's what he's been told to do.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he wasn't even applying the most force that he was allowed to apply.
Yeah, there's a scale of magnitude that you can go, which is basically hog tying.
Yeah.
Them, tying up their arms and legs together.
Now, whether that's moral or whether that's wrong, that's another conversation. But like I said,
I suppose it depends. Like there are contexts without you'd have to do that, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
But like within the context of the trial, the important thing is that if Chauvin is operating
a monster,
Well, if he's operating,
I see, right? Okay.
Yeah, if he's operating within the
parameters of
the allowed parameters, how can he be committing felony assault?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a random guy.
No.
It was a guy they were arrested. You know what I mean? It's, they've been called there. They arrested him. He was, experiencing excited delirium.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. You know what I mean? And, should have said actually before this conversation, all the usual caveats.
Yeah.
So all usual caveats. But I might have said this on the podcast before. It's never a black lawyer or a black businessman or a black... You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's therefore okay.
Yeah.
No one wanted George Floyd to die.
No.
Right?
Except for Nancy Pelosi, it seems.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But no one wanted him dead. But this idolizing thing, as Eddie said on the podcast,
I'm sure he's real happy that his words have been immortalized in such
where we first talked
such
about
a fashion.
that.
Yeah.
We were like, that was eggshell time, wasn't it? We're treading on eggshells, stating our opinion, but being quite, careful. Then Eddie just comes out with, it's not even like he was a good person. And he's not wrong. But he was operating on the 10th tier of a 2-tier conversation.
Eddie was light years ahead. He's an innovator in this field.
Yeah, it's like we've got to build up all the foundational flaws before we get to, was he a good guy?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a slight tangent, but what was the name of the, after Biden's address to the House, or whatever it was, there was a black senator.
Tim Scott.
He sort of delivered a rebuttal after Biden's address. The crux of which, the thing that most people have taken away, is the fact that Tim Scott said that America is not a racist country.
Yes.
As a black man who is a US senator in a position of authority, I have experienced racism.
Yes.
But I do not think that is because America is inherently racist.
Yeah.
Those are sort of isolated incidents. I am telling you, as a black man of power, America is not racist.
Yeah.
To which everybody's response seems to be, I feel sorry for him. That
he's been trotted out. And
and I like as well that...
Uncle Tim.
Everyone's calling him Uncle Tim. And I like the fact that people are finding a way, even though they're having a go at him for pushing the white patriarchal, white supremacist agenda, they're still like finding a way of making it not his fault.
I know, yeah.
It's exactly. Like, I feel bad that Tim Scott's being trotted out in this fashion. I feel bad that he's having to parrot he's the only black Republican, so they trot him out to... say all of these things.
Well, you can't criticize a black guy.
No, you can't.
So whenever they dissent, and
also if a black guy disagrees with this notion that America is inherently racist, they can't be his opinions.
Well,
clearly these are the opinions of other people.
This is what they do. If a black person disagrees with the dominant narrative on the left, it's either that they are, they're being puppeteered, or they're not black. Which is what they did to Kanye West.
Right.
That's just what they write op-eds about, how they're not really black.
Okay.
They might have black skin, but they're not black, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't embody... Because apparently blackness, as you know, connotes a whole set of beliefs.
Yeah.
We talked about that ad nauseam.
It's not a race anymore, it's an idea, almost.
Yeah, it's like ideology comes with the pigment sort of thing. Utter fucking bullshit.
Lunacy.
At
the highest order. But yeah, the point that, like, Tim Scott, someone like him, like Chauvin met a certain fate. A man like Tim Scott would not meet that fate.
What was that?
I don't know. That was a weirdly phrased sentiment.
I don't know what you meant.
Well, I'm sort of like using that as an example of, you were saying that, like, it's never a black lawyer, it's never a black.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Tim Scott would not end up in that situation.
No, sure.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just saying, again, it's not excusing it at all. And obviously, if the police kill anybody, it's probably going to be criminals. But that's my point, is then why are we lionizing them and canonizing them, sanctifying them after they die? Why can't we just say George Floyd was at best, complicated, morally shady character, and it's fucking disgusting that he's dead?
Yeah.
Why can't we have both those things?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, everything's binary, isn't it?
Is it just like, we have to uncomplicate the issue? If it's a complicated issue...
retard the issue,
as it were. Like, if we bring this complicated issue to public discourse, people are going to lose the point of the message, as it were.
What is the message?
That police are killing black people and it's wrong?
Well, the police are bad. The police need to be defunded.
I put the emphasis in the wrong place. It's not like, it's bad that police should be allowed to kill black people. No, the fact that they're killing black people in droves. They're breaking into their houses and killing them without warrants and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
not true.
Do you really think, especially in the post-George Floyd world, do you really think that a police officer wants to...
Well, they don't. It's called the...
wants to even interact with black people, let alone have people in a position where shooting them becomes a viable option.
Well, it's an observed thing. It's the Ferguson effect. So after things like this happen, crime goes up in those neighborhoods because the police refuse to go there.
Yeah.
And who can blame them?
Yeah.
Not just for like, I don't want to get potentially involved in a situation where I'm going to lose, well, my life, basically.
Yeah.
But also literally losing their life. Like, I'm not going to be shot at. I'm just going to go in this place, I'm going to get shot at because I'm a cop. That's the thing.
Like, Derek Chauvin's, the moment that trial started, Derek Chauvin's life was over.
Whatever happened.
If he went to prison, he went to prison. Yeah. He lost his freedom. If he didn't go to prison...
He didn't and lost his freedom.
He didn't and lost his freedom. Yeah, he would have had to have been put in protective custody because there's no way that he could just go home to his family.
No.
If Derek Chauvin just went home after the court hearings, like, right, I'll just get back to a normal life, he'd be dead by the morning.
Yeah.
In all likelihood.
Yeah. Or
vigilantes, people looking for justice, like people looking at accountability, whatever the fucking buzzword is at the moment, accountability.
Reckoning. That's the buzzword.
No, because there was like...
We've been reckoning. We've had a reckoning with race in the past. Oh, I'm sick of fucking hearing it.
But then there was all this like, after Chauvin was convicted, it was like, it's not justice. Justice would be George Floyd not being dead. Yeah. It's accountability or whatever the word was.
Well, the hucksterism, the grift must persist.
Yes.
Right? Like, they can't say... It's the whole thing about...
you could have at least... Yeah, they could have at least had the fucking decency to be happy with the conviction.
Yeah, it's the thing of, like, the ACLU and all these various anti-racism organizations. What happens when your job is basically done?
Yeah.
You've got to move on, or you've got to pretend the problem still exists.
Yes.
And, so they can't say, let's just, like, good. The picketing and the protesting can continue next week.
Yeah.
But for now,
let's take a moment to appreciate the achievement.
And I think it's like 50-50. 50 have done that. But then you've got the 50% that are like, it's not justice.
Yeah.
It's good, I suppose.
Well, not even that.
I'll yield to it being a positive outcome.
Yeah.
But no, he never should have died in the first place. Which, what is the opposition to that? What is the opposition to he never should have died?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what's so baffling about Nancy Pelosi's...
It's Pelosi.
Pelosi, my mistake. And that's what's so baffling about her statement. Because after the trial ended and the conviction was delivered...
Yeah.
I don't remember what forum it was said in, but she delivered a speech where she basically thanked George Floyd for his sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, okay... I mean, like, the sort of the heart of the discussion we're having is that like, this trial was the political trial of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a matter of...
no such thing as a political trial,
yeah, exactly. There's what happened and what you... Like, all reasonable doubt, all of that stuff, that was overshadowed by the fact that this was a hotly contested political issue.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just about Derek Chauvin's freedom or George Floyd's life. It's about the systemic racism in America. It's about... cops killing black people every which way, every moment of the day.
Derek Chauvin didn't go to jail for killing George Floyd. He went to jail for symbolizing something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. It was it's a political... Yeah. It's a very politically charged trial.
Who would have thought that Derek Chauvin, who I'm sure he had, like, charges against him before and all, who I know nothing about, he could be a terrible guy in his private life.
Yeah.
Who knew that guy would become a martyr? But a martyr for nothing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. No good will come of this.
No.
This, like, it was a miscarriage of justice, but at least down the road.
Yeah.
No, this just sets a terrible precedent. Nothing good will come of this.
No. But no, I was going to say, like, it doesn't matter what side of the political scale that you're on. I think that the one common thing that we all share is that George Floyd shouldn't have died.
Well, the thing is, it's utterly tone deaf. Obviously, it's insensitive. But I think the people who are on her side won't really hear it, because what they'll hear is what she intends, which is he was a brave man, and now maybe it will generate some justice.
Yeah.
But actually thanking him for his sacrifice, as though he signed up to be in an army.
As though this is a choice that he would have ever made.
Yeah. He didn't want to die. Derek Chauvin, I would guess, didn't want him to die.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted him to die.
Pull George Floyd out of that situation for a moment and sit him down and go, right, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
You're going to die now.
Yeah.
And it's going to start this whole movement where we start fighting injustice against race in America and the police are going to be held accountable, blah, 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 blah. You cool with that? Pretty sure he would have said no. I kind of want to live.
We can never know. But yeah, my guess is he would have said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't a good guy, was he? He held a woman at gunpoint. And, like, here's the thing. There's been a few rumblings about... But you can't trust any of it is the problem. But, he was trying to get his life together and he'd been going to rehab and he'd been trying to mentor all these people. Again, which I take with a grain of salt, but it could well be true.
Yeah.
Let's say it is true. Okay, and I do believe in a redemption narrative that we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
And good for him if that is what he was doing. I mean, he was on drugs when he died. Yeah. So not like pure, clean, perfect kind of...
No.
You know what I mean? But whatever. He did hold a pregnant woman at gunpoint. And you have to do quite a lot of fucking, redeeming.
Yes.
To
sort of come back from
bury that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's like a lot of it may very well be true. The problem is they've foregrounded these specific details to the point where they've become the story.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he was trying to get his life back on track. Yeah, he may very well have expressed that on multiple occasions. Mm-hmm. But that's like, as you say, like he held a pregnant woman at gunpoint. That doesn't like discredit his words.
No.
But it's his actions are contradicting that sentiment. Like, well okay. This incident with the girl with the knife. Micaiah Bryant is her name.
Yes.
Yeah, Micaiah Bryant.
Yeah.
The situation, as far as I understand it, is that she... the police were called to a situation where these two girls were having a scuffle. Mm-hmm. And the police officer showed up, and Micaiah Bryant was holding a knife, threatening the woman that she was in a scuffle with. And then she turned around and sort of made her way towards the police officer, lunging at him. Mm-hmm. Police officer shot her 4 times in the chest.
Was it? I think he was lunging at the girl, wasn't she?
Oh, I wasn't sure if it was the girl or the police officer.
Okay, I mean, either it doesn't defeat the point either way, but I think she was going to stab the girl.
Right, okay.
Yeah, like making to do it, not just waving the knife around, like moving in for the kill sort of thing. Yeah.
Happened immediately after Derek Chauvin.
Day
after Derek Chauvin. Yeah. This guy became the new Derek Chauvin, basically. Like the real Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
Like just take a moment to celebrate your achievement. This system that you claim to be inherently racist has just like convicted one of its own, basically. Mm-hmm. This system that you seem to think is against you has worked in your favor.
Yeah.
That alone should be an achievement. Like we managed to bend the system to do what it should be doing from the start.
Right.
But no, like immediately after, it's like, this is just proof that like we haven't achieved anything.
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing's changed. The people are just being black people just being killed by police all the time.
Yeah. Well, LeBron James tweeted a picture of the cop.
Oh,
said, this is the cop.
Yeah.
Like, you're next. I think he said you're next.
Yeah.
Isn't sinister at all.
Fucking dangerous. Dangerous thing to do. Very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, things just decline exponentially, it would seem. Because there's having different perspectives and, obviously some people think that have their own facts. But we're at the point now where, like CNN, I think, right? They showed the video because the body cam footage was immediately released.
Yes. Yeah, the police body cam footage. Yeah.
And the host of the show said, police have shot a girl who was allegedly, and he like landed on that phrase, allegedly holding a knife. And they cut out the video. The 2 bits they cut out were the police being called and her holding the knife.
Yeah.
They edited it out of the video.
Yeah.
That's just blatant.
Yeah.
Lying.
I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe. Yeah, that's where we are now.
I know that like things can be mischaracterized.
Yeah.
You'll land. Listen, like we were sort of saying about George Floyd, like the fact that he was trying to get his life back together may very well have been true, but like by foregrounding that information, you're sort of building this alternative.
Yeah.
It built like whether you're intending to or not, it kind of builds this alternative narrative.
Yeah,
like
Jesus-ing him.
Jesus-ing him.
Yeah.
And with her, they were just like, it was just this young girl who just likes making TikTok videos
just
with
this
her friends.
Just this kid,
and the police just showed up and gunned her down.
Yeah, what was that? Was that one person that said?
Like teenagers have knife fights all the time. Why do the police
there was
need to
a
get
girl
involved?
in my school who had a pen knife and all. She used to carry. It's like, right. Okay.
How on earth are we at the point where people are going, kids should be allowed to fight each other with knives? The police don't need to. There's no place for the police to get involved.
I think that between the police turning up and the shooting was 9 seconds. They had no time to, because that's another thing, right? People saying, shouldn't police be trained to talk to a teenage girl?
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, if you're a teenage girl and you're coming at me with a knife and I have a gun, with your black, white, turquoise, I'll show you what cancel culture really is.
Yeah.
You're getting cancelled.
Yes.
And I will sleep soundly afterwards. If you're coming at me with a knife, and I have a gun, you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
But that's another thing as well. Like, people are saying, like, this is... The police should be trained better than this. But the fact that he had to shoot her 4 times in the chest.
As she lunged at someone.
As she lunged at somebody with a knife.
See, when they say that, right, lunged 4 times, shot 4 times in the chest.
Yeah.
The reason is to make you think it's barbaric. Like that he was just like
overkill.
Mutilating the body, overkill. They do that to ensure that they go down.
Yeah.
It's not like she's on the ground and then he was just firing at her, emptying the clip.
Well, this is my... This is my question.
Yeah.
How... Whether she was lunging at him, or whether she was lunging at her victim, who he saved, but that's no mention of her.
The minority that he saved,
that he saved, and like I think even within that body cam footage, you hear somebody saying like, "I called the police."
Yeah, and he got it for me.
Because of this situation, all of that was removed. But yeah, she's lunging at somebody with a knife.
Yeah,
you have a gun. Where are you supposed to shoot her?
Well, they're trained to shoot at the chest, aren't they?
That's the thing. If you can't shoot at the head.
It's just too...
Because that is barbaric, frankly.
It's not barbaric, is it? I mean, if someone's you shoot wherever you can.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like a head is a pretty hard target.
A head is a pretty hard...
You shoot at the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Yeah, head is like... That is instant death.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, you know, the image of like head with bullet holes in it. It's a bit like... Oof,
It's a gruesome image, but again, wherever you need to. You know what I mean?
So you have the head. You can't shoot there.
Yeah.
You can't shoot in the arms and you can't shoot in the legs because they're also not reliable targets because they're moving around the most and they're also not the biggest target. And also, presumably, when a policeman or police individual, I don't know, is shooting at their target, they want to hit that target.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss because you run the risk of shooting an innocent bystander.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that if you're shooting, you're going to hit your target.
Yes.
In which case, the chest, your torso area, is probably the safest bet.
It also has your heart, which is, you know...
Yes. Yeah, that is if you're shooting to kill.
Yeah.
But like, okay, well, why didn't you use...
Well, you're always shooting to kill.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you use a taser? Because, well, okay, but a taser is there's no guarantee that will neutralise the victim.
No, taser's not nearly as effective as people think it is.
No. Like, if you're hopped up on adrenaline, which if you're about to stab someone, you probably are.
Yeah.
The taser's not going to do anything to you.
Yeah.
You've just made that person more dangerous.
Angry, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, I don't know... I know next to nothing about guns.
No.
Right? What I do know is that when people say, why didn't you just shoot her in the leg? They're talking nonsense. The realities of you know, ballistics and how guns work and those situations... Jack Bauer isn't real. James Bond isn't real.
Yeah.
You can't like, I'll just shoot the shoulder to disable that.
Yeah.
You'd have to be like an expert sniper marksman.
Oh, yeah.
In real life, it's frantic. You know, bullets, like all the time the sabs, they ricochet or like they hit bone and the bone fragments like hurt other people.
Yeah.
They ricochet and like disable people because they hit them in the leg.
As you said.
Shit happens all the time.
As you said, 9 seconds from the cop turning up to a situation that I don't know how much he was briefed before he turned up. It's probably just like, oh, somebody called the police.
Yeah.
The situation is unfolding.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
So 9 seconds from him turning up to her being dead on the floor.
Yes.
Because she lunged at whoever it was. Yeah, and just like that happened, and then I think either the same day or the day after, there was a separate stabbing somewhere else where like a black teenager stabbed another black teenager.
I think the day of the trial.
The day of the trial, this happened, and the police were not involved in that situation at all.
That was just black on black.
Yeah, black on black violence, and that no mention of that anywhere.
Well, I've heard one person talk about it, and they only to make this point.
Yeah,
which is Black Lives Matter. They really, really do not care about black lives.
No,
it is just they care when police kill black people because it services their agenda.
Yeah, the black on black crime rate is ridiculously high in certain cities. It's skyrocket. You know, I was listening to an interview, like a debate earlier, and I thought it was kind of, I'm always appalled at these things, but it was supposed to be like a reasonable. It wasn't a fiery debate. It was like it was British. So, like the host of the show, I disagree with you, old boy. I think that
exactly
one of those. Yeah,
and the host was saying, you know, the population of black people in America is 13%. And the amount that they interacted with police or killed by police or whatever, it's 40%. Some just say 40, right? And it's like, so we're not disputing that there's a disproportion here, and it's... 13% population is not the appropriate statistic. The appropriate statistic is how much of the crime is committed by black people.
Yeah.
Because that dictates how often they interact with police.
Yeah.
Just saying, oh, there are 13%, that's got nothing to do with the latter. They're completely unrelated. All that would suggest to me, 13% of the population, say 40% of the interaction, not that they're being unfairly targeted, is that there's clearly a problem in the communities or the culture or something that they would be committing that much crime.
This is like part of the problem, isn't it? Is that there's no there's so many people, whether it be Black Lives Matter or just progressives or the left or whoever. Yeah, they speak of racism and how much they hate it and how much they want it gone, and that in and of itself is like an admirable goal. It's like, yeah, racism doesn't benefit anyone. It'd be nice if we managed to get rid of it. Yeah. But they seem to be like unwilling to engage with it in like
seriously.
Any meaningful capacity.
Yeah.
Like, racism is bad. Yes, okay, I agree with you. What should we do? Stop being racist. Okay, how do we do that? Just stop being racist. Okay, well, surely we should actually look at where the racism is coming from. We should, like, if there's, the police are frequently interacting with black people, maybe we should look at, like, why those interactions are recurring. Maybe we should, like, cut off that at the source, so that we should make sure that black people and the police are interacting less. Like, whether we need to bolster, whether we need to improve police training, or whether we need to bolster programs within the black community or funding or whatever to make sure that those
we know what it is,
statistics are going down. No, you should just stop being racist.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you need to really think about. We need to really examine what is going on.
Well, okay. Well, firstly, it's not even like when the police kill a black person. It's not even low hanging fruit, as in, like, they're easy targets. Because it's such a high profile thing, and it's a police and the black and the whole history of that. Yeah, it's not just that. It's like, it's when you make the fruit feel guilty for being fruit. right?
Okay.
That's what's happened. And so, we can target them. But it's like, right, if you really care about black people dying, you've got, let's just pretend that the police are going around disproportionately murdering black people, right? You've got this problem, which is a 1% problem. And then you've got the 99% that is inner city gang violence and all that other stuff. Focus on that.
Because that's the reason the police are interacting.
But, like, that's in the first place. That's the major thing to be done in the area of preserving black life. Yeah, the real work to be done is in the inner cities, right? Yeah, in the communities. But it's not even just low hanging. It's because of the guilt. It's because we can target that problem. Because when we say it's a problem, all the white people go, "Oh yeah, sorry, it is a problem." Whereas if you go and do the work with the gangs and all that, that's hard work. Yeah. And it's the same thing with the feminists. When men feel guilty for being men, and you go, right, if you're a real feminist, I'll tell you where the work needs to be done, the Middle East. If you're a real feminist, go do that. But that's hard. Yeah. It's hard work. So it's just an easy life to say that, the most important fight at the moment is whether men should be able to beat up women in MMA. Yeah. Or all this shit. Or toilets. Or... Because it's easy, because everyone over here is just like, oh yeah, sorry for being me. Yeah. If you want to do the work, like, go over the places where you fucking need it the most.
Look at me solving problems left, right, and centre.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But we know the real reason, right, behind black on black violence, like what all of that, well, partly anyway, is rooted in.
What is it?
The welfare state.
Okay.
Because as soon as the government basically subsidised and incentivised mothers to be single mothers... all of a sudden fathers are leaving the home. I mean, that's the big problem with the black community, frankly. Okay. Not universally, obviously, but the fathers fuck off. Well, actually, so it's the welfare state, and it's the war on drugs, which has been a complete failure because black men get arrested for having a bit of marijuana or a bit, disproportionately, because it's rife in those communities, and they're taking fathers away from their children. Yeah. So, I mean, my opinion on drugs, or legalize it, was everything, right?
But like that's
but that's where it comes from. Yeah, it's the problem of, and I'm not saying I've got no like judgment about single mothers. My parents divorced, you know what I mean. My father was around, but It's not like me sneering at single mothers, but every study ever has proven that kids turn out better when it's a two-parent household. You know, that's the problem. Yeah. And they gravitate towards gangs because it provides them with something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It sort of fills the role that a parental figure should be filling.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering that this like illuminates my point a bit better. Like when you were saying like drugs, like legalized drugs.
Yeah.
It's like saying like, oh, all drugs are bad. It's okay. Well, what should we do about it? Just no one should have drugs. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, let's actually look at what the drug, like, you know, like marijuana. Yeah. Let's look at the effects of marijuana and whether that's dangerous, whether the danger is the drug itself or the way that it's being administered, as it were. Yeah. Like, you know, heroin is pretty brutal, but like dirty needles and the fact that they're getting them from unreliable suppliers, like that's all stuff that can be negated if that was legalized. And like with LSD, there isn't a single case in history as far as I'm aware of somebody dying from LSD. It's like, no, drugs are bad. Just get rid of the drugs. Yeah, it's the same thing as with the racism problem. It's just like, no, racism is bad. It should just be gone.
It's just simple, yeah. It's oversimplified. Well, as Sam Harris has talked about, the problem is that it's this one word, drugs. And to use another example of his, but it's him talking about religion. He says, again, it's the fact that we have a blanket term for it. There is no crossover between, for instance, Islam and Taoism. It's like just saying sport. It's like, what do bowls and Muay Thai fighting, whatever, boxing have in common other than breathing? Nothing in common. It's the fact that drugs, marijuana, is not heroin. No. You know?
Which is not LSD, which is not cocaine,
exactly.
Which is not blood.
They all have their own characteristics and, you know, chemistry, and that needs to be unpacked. But me, generally, I'm quite a libertarian with that sort of stuff. It's just like, if it's their people can do with their bodies whatever they choose, basically. If they want to pump it full of heroin, all right, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's sort of similar with racism as well, the gradations of racism. You've got just general, like, people who grew up in like the 40s or the 50s, and it's sort of a residual, like that's just the society they grew up in. So every now and again they'll still call someone a darkie
or coloured,
and they mean no harm by it. It's just like residual, it's leftover reflex almost. And then you have like systems of like whatever that are specifically targeting black people. You know, this whole idea that like, oh, the police are unfairly targeting black people. That's a very severe accusation of racism. And it's not the same as your 60-year-old grandmother who just doesn't know the correct lingo.
Yeah, isn't up on the vocab.
Yeah, like some racism.
Current police guidelines.
Yeah, exactly. Like some racism, not like all racism is not ideal.
No.
We don't like racism. It'd be, like I said earlier, it'd be nice if we lived in a world without racism. But there is some racism which is more pressing than others.
Well, yeah.
So you can't just like bracket it all together and say, no, all racism is bad. We target all racism. Everyone that is racist, which is all of you, go away. It's like, no, let's target the dangerous stuff first. Let's really dig into what's going on in the black community. Let's dig into what's happening with the police. Let's dig into like all of this stuff, that like this $10 trillion proposal that Biden is touting at the moment. It's like, oh, I'm going to give all Americans money for some reason. Yeah. Whatever's going on there at the moment. Let's see if that's actually helping, you know?
Well, okay, so you've got the most obvious example is the Ku Klux Klan, right? The KKK, them going around lynching black people. Yeah. Is problematic racism, right?
And it needs to be quite pressing.
Yeah, quite pressing. And there are racists, and it's never good when someone is racist. No. And there are racially motivated murders. All that stuff does happen. But in terms of the social drive to talk about racism and fight racism is done, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. It doesn't mean there'll never be a racially motivated murder again, and when there is, that person should go to jail for it. It doesn't mean that there won't be individual racists. And if you meet one, I guess, have a word with them. Yeah. But in terms of a social struggle against it, we're done. We've cured it as much as it can ever be cured. Yeah. Right? Because you can't get rid of racism.
No, but civil rights in America, it was a pretty conclusive victory.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So,
and it was in America. This is like another thing that annoys me. It might be a tangent unto itself, but like all of these problems that are happening in America at the moment, they're bleeding over into the UK.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's...
leads.
Sorry?
America leads.
America leads. And I don't know whether that's just specific to the UK or whether there are other...
I think the Western Europe as well.
Yeah, Western Europe, whether they're all kind of adopting America's issues, which is bad because they're not our problems, frankly. The police in the UK and the police in America, I've said this multiple times, they have a completely different relationship with the black community. For one thing, British police are not armed.
No.
So how can they go around killing black people willy-nilly, like dragging them out of their homes and killing them like for pulling them over after pulling them over? They're not armed.
Yeah.
They might have like riot sticks, but they're not armed. They can't kill.
And, there is, like with America, there is history of racism in the police force.
Yeah.
Like in the Met. Like that definitely was a thing.
There is a history of that. But also at the same time, like civil rights happened in America in the 60s. There were instances in World War I, and like World War II definitely, World War I, I assume, where British soldiers would beat up American soldiers for displaying traits of racism.
Right.
Like they'd go into pubs and like the bartender would be like black, and they'd go, "Oh, we can't drink here. The bartender's black."
Yeah.
And the British soldiers would beat them up.
Yeah.
We have a completely different relationship with race for America. Why are we treating... Like, why are the Metropolitan Police being put under the same microscope as the Minneapolis Police Department? It's completely different.
Well, again, I've said before, it's...
Total lack of nuance, again, is... Like, that's the problem here.
Yeah, that's the kind of overarching...
Yeah.
One of the many overarching issues that binds all this stuff together. But I've said before, it's as though not only are police forces the same nation to nation, which they're not, they're not even the same city to city.
Yeah.
Precinct to precinct, or officer to officer.
Yeah.
Partners, two police officers together. There's going to be a wealth of differences between them.
Exactly.
It's kind of astounding in a way how non-complex people are, the way in which some people are able to think, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Seems like a grand description to something that isn't. But you know what I mean? I've said this, I don't think I've said it on the podcast, like when we were in school, and GCSE and A-level, and you did it humanities, or like RE in history especially, and you had to write an essay, the structure that you had to generally follow was, this group of people believes A, this group of people believes B. In summary, I think blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And usually in the summary you would write, I think A's got some good points and B's got some...
Yeah.
Now that's pretty cookie-cutter, straightforward curriculum stuff.
Yeah.
But that is more complex than the thinking of most adults today that came from that.
Yeah. No, system. A is good. A is the way to go. Well, what about B? No, A.
Yeah. Talking about B is a sign of, your privilege.
Yeah, I'm not even willing to talk about B.
Yeah.
Well, we should at least discuss the merits of B. Why? Because you are B?
Exactly. And this is what I talked about in the last podcast, last episode. This stuff is also infantilizing. That you have to say, have you considered the other side? Like, that should be the default all the time, that you consider all opinions.
You should at least be able to trust that you have considered the other side. Yeah.
But, But so the most recent thing was that the video of, I think it was an Antifa rally or Black Lives Matter. I think Antifa.
Okay.
And this guy's driving along, trying to get through the throng of people. And the guy just jumps on the hood of his car and... he continues driving. And the person posted the video saying, guy plows through Antifa rally, trying to like run people over.
Right.
It's like, you're linking the video in which I
saw him.
It's not from a distance. It's not ambiguous as to whether it's right there.
Yeah.
The guy jumps on the hood of the car. And it's just like, I don't think that they're lying to us. I think they see something else.
Right.
I think the brain ideology has rewired the brains to the point where, like, they can look at an apple and go, that's an orange. And genuinely see an orange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said to you yesterday, outside of a philosophy seminar, if I point at a dog and insist it's a tumble dryer, I'm insane. But that's how people are thinking now.
Yeah.
And I know you can have memories can be false and your eyes can deceive you and stuff like that. But this isn't a difference of opinion. A thing happened, and you'll tell me that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's
or that something else happened.
Yeah, or that something else happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more the discourse can be degraded.
It's like it goes back to CNN saying like, oh, she was just a young girl who made TikTok videos and she was brutally, and then not showing you the whole video.
Yeah,
it's like it's one thing to mischaracterize a situation or highlight certain components of a situation to kind of foreground a different. It's another thing to just present alternate reality,
willful manipulation of yeah, absolutely. This all reminds me of, and because these are the kind of people where this stuff comes from. A friend we once had.
Is that how we're characterizing that relationship now?
Oh, no, it's not the friend you think I'm talking about. A friend, and we were talking about truth.
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely not friends anymore.
Definitely not, no. We talk about truth and what it means, and the kind of difference between empirical truth and poetic truth. And, what is truth? A very wanky kind of student conversation. It got to the point, I can't remember, were you there for it?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember most of it. I remember what it boiled down to, which was me holding up a blue pen and saying, okay, because her basic contention was, everybody has their own truth.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as empirical truth.
Empirical truth,
empirical truth, objective truth, rather than empirical. Yeah, there's no, and I think I brought up the point when we were writing Groovy the first time. If you had cameras on every part of the world, they'd only show one thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a difference for opinion.
The empirical truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I said, if I hold up this pen and it was blue, and I say it's blue, and you say it's red, either one of us is wrong, or we're both wrong, but we can't both be right, can we? And she said, yes.
Are you okay? Are you sure? She said yes.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of too perfect an example.
No, she said yes.
Okay.
She said it depends on your opinion, basically, where you're coming from. And I do think truth can be complicated. There's objective truth. There's poetic, the whole Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris thing.
Yeah.
There's poetic truth, where truth can mean what's useful rather than what's a fact. You know what I mean? And the Mark Twain thing, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the truth isn't always necessarily a fact. It's complicated. But I think when you say this thing is blue when it's red, you are wrong. There's no, I don't care if you're in a philosophy seminar or not, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
There has to be a bedrock here.
Yes.
Of reality. And that's the kind of person that drives all this bullshit. That's just the fundamental mindset of the age.
That's a position founded on pathos, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, I want to... Saying that there's everybody has their own truth is sort of the nicer thing to do.
Empathy, yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't want to discredit anyone else's truth.
Well, yeah,
merely acknowledging the existence of empirical truth sort of discredits your truth. And everybody should have their truth.
When people...
that's a nice thing.
Yeah, say people have their own truth, they usually mean we all have our own struggle and what works for you might not necessarily work for me, which is, of course, true.
Yeah.
But it can't extend to objective fact.
No.
So, yeah, everyone has their own truth. It's a distortion, really. Everyone has their own experience would be more appropriate. Or everyone has their own story. Truth is the truth. There is only one truth. And it is the Jesus is the light and the way out. No,
this whole time.
This whole time. I've been Jesus smuggling, as Douglas Murray calls it. Anyway, yeah. So, what's nice about all this, though, maybe this is the one silver lining of it. I was saying to my father, who... We talk about this stuff increasingly now, but he tends not to talk about my character. We don't talk about me in a lot.
Okay.
And we were talking about the Chauvin trial, and I said, as I had said to my grandfather, I don't blame the jury. Look, maybe they did look at everything and genuinely
I do feel sorry for the jury. I don't know it because the trial took place in Minneapolis. At the epicenter,
which should never have been done.
At the epicenter of all of everything that was happening with George Floyd, which is wrong.
Yeah.
The jury, I think they were kept anonymous, but there was a fear amongst all of them that the details of who they were were going to be released. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was it. So that probably swayed their decision. As we say, the fact that
this is they admitted to all the people have basically tacitly admitted to it being mob justice.
Yeah.
It's if we hadn't got the verdict we want, we would have done X, Y, Z.
Yeah, exactly.
That is called mob justice.
That is called mob justice.
It's what whole civilization is been built to protect us from.
And even though, as we were saying, like beyond reasonable doubt law, even though there's really no place for, what impact would this have on the general public? There's not really any place for that in the courtroom. I think it was impossible for you to be a juror on that trial and not consider
it's
that. It's
complicated, isn't it? Because it's psychological and cultural jury tampering. It's 20 million people in the streets. Yeah. It's the politicians outside the court. It's the fucking, saying we will get justice.
It's the fucking president of the United States saying you will get the I believe we'll get the result that we deserve.
Yeah. And then as soon as the verdict was reached, he said a murderer has gone to prison. Yeah. And I tell you what, it makes you think. It casts all of history in doubt. Because you think most people now believe that a racist who killed a black man, a racially motivated murder, has gone to prison rightfully for a racially motivated murder. And you and I know that's not true. It's absolutely not true.
I don't...
Look, we can't know what's in his heart.
No, that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying that, he should be found not guilty. I'm saying that I don't trust that true objectivism led us to that conclusion. That the people who made that decision were not truly objective. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but that's, all of this stuff. You think about it and you go, I don't know what's true then. I don't know what to believe from history because the victor is the one who writes history, that whole thing. And, I mean, I do think we are in a uniquely confused age because of the internet. So I don't think we can... All of history must be thrown under the microscope. Yeah. But still, there is that element of, oh God, I don't know then. You just have to go off trust what you see sort of thing. But yeah, so I was talking with my father about it, and I said I don't blame them at all, because if it got out who they were, and there's one person that wouldn't consent with the rest, then their life could be over. You never know. So especially if they've got kids, said I don't know, and I said to my father, now I don't really know what I would do, but I suppose I would be the one guy not agreeing to go with the guilty verdict. I'd be that guy that would cause the hung jury. So, but if I had kids, I don't know, maybe I would just do it for life, for the sake of having a good life. And my father turned around and he said to me with certainty, no, you wouldn't.
Oh, right.
And I said, oh, why do you say that? He said, you're like me, you can't say something you don't believe is true.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's really nice that you think that. So I guess, I'd have been the dude in that jury room going, no. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, hung trial. What do you think you would have done? Think you would have bent to the pressure, or do you think you would have stood your ground?
I really want to believe that I would be that guy.
Yeah.
That would stand his ground and go, look.
That wouldn't be the good German.
I'm in doubt, and I think it's reasonable.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you,
That's it, yeah. I don't like the guy. George Floyd shouldn't be dead, but I have reasonable doubt. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, well, let's hope we never have to find out.
No, exactly.
But, yeah.
So that's that.
That's that.
I would say, let's move on to something less controversial, but I imagine the rest of this podcast is just going to be us bashing Zack Snyder, right?
Yes, it is. That's more fun, isn't it?
It's more fun. Yeah. Yes. So let's although do that. We might attract the same level of hate.
Oh, more. Yeah. The amount, just even established film critics. Okay. Like Kermode, when he gave a bad review to Justice League, all the dislikes on that video.
Yeah. This sort of motivated the exercise, right? We talked about Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yes. And then for comparison, you watched, I rewatched the original Justice League. Yes. And the conclusion that we reached was that the original Justice League is the better film. Yes. Then both of them are not good.
No, neither.
And Zack Snyder's Justice League is a particularly terrible affair. Yeah. But the original Justice League is the superior film.
Yeah. I think we are in the minority, because even people who don't like Zack Snyder's version still say, but it is better than...
But it is, yeah.
We are in the very slim minority that think Queens is better.
Yeah. Yeah. And didn't you post on was it Unilad or Lad Bible or something, where they were like, what's a terrible film that you watched recently?
Yeah, what's the last terrible film you watched?
Yeah. And you said it was Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Or what's the worst film you've ever seen, I think. Yeah. And I said, it's not the worst film I've ever seen, but in terms of the experience, and it's fresh, that... And yeah, the amount of people that jumped on it saying, you're wrong, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Oh no, a guy said, yeah, you're wrong, it's art. And I said, yeah, with a capital F. And it didn't get back to me.
No. But the mightiness of that response. I couldn't possibly fight him.
It's like whack-a-mole. Wherever minor criticism pops up, someone slams it down instantly. Which is interesting for a film, isn't it?
In what way?
Well, like, at this scale. Like, because obviously it's a fanboy film, isn't it?
Oh, do you mean like, surely this is, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League is not a film that needs defending?
No, what I'm saying is, so say like Mark Kermode, right? So the people who are fans of Mark Kermode are going to be like film aficionados, and like if you ever listen to the radio show, the people who write in, they'd be ABC ones. They'd be smart people, who, like Stuart Lee's audience, like they appeal to that bracket. So you'd think the people who love Justice League wouldn't be a Mark Kermode. There would be no overlap, or very little overlap.
Yeah.
But even there, it's getting all this like, how dare you? So it's like wherever it pops up, it's got to be wiped out instantly.
Okay.
It crosses over into all these other territories. Twitter, everywhere.
Yeah.
So yes, we decided to try and understand how we would have cultivated enough support for this grassroots movement.
Because I brought it up during the Justice League review that the second day, the day after it had been released into the world, there were 250,000 audience reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. We were going back through Zack Snyder's catalogue, and there was like 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 audience reviews on all of his films.
Yeah.
Like, this guy isn't just liked. There's like loads of people defend this man.
Yeah.
It's like, right, we've clearly missed something.
Yep.
We have to go back
and find it.
Yeah. So we watched every film that Zack Snyder has directed, with one exception. That being The Legend of the Guardians of the Owls of the Guardians.
The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
The Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah.
We watched like 12 minutes of that, and it became clear very quickly that it was not really a Zack Snyder film.
No.
It was from the studio that did Happy Feet. It was clearly their film over his.
Yeah.
Our assumption being that Snyder was like, I'll do it. So it's something my daughters can watch, and it's just an easy paycheck.
My guess is, because it came out in 2011, right?
Yes.
Same year as Sucker Punch, which was his passion project.
Oh no, it was like before. If not the same year, then the year before.
A year before. Obviously, usually most directors, there's at least 2 years between films.
Yeah.
The amount of time it takes. I think he did it to have money to make Sucker Punch. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
To fund his passion project.
Yeah, but we watched enough of it to feel confident in saying this is not really.
It's not a Snyder film.
Yeah, this doesn't really contribute anything to the conversation.
Yes.
And we've already talked about Justice League at length. So we are now going to be discussing Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice.
Yeah. We're not going to do a forensic examination.
No, this is not going to be like 40-minute reviews each. We might be jumping around a little bit.
Yes. Well, let's start by doing that.
Okay.
What trends did we pick up on across all those films?
Well, like I said, we started watching this because we felt like we'd missed something.
Yeah.
We didn't find it.
No. Yeah, like spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We've not been converted to Zack Snyder.
No, this is like... And to the people who I think would be inclined to say, well, you just went in not like wanting to like Zack Snyder.
I never, ever have that.
No. Or just like, if you're not a fan of Snyder, then why did you put yourself... Well, it's like, this was Zack Snyder's opportunity.
Yeah.
This was the best opportunity he was ever going to get to convince us otherwise.
I'd seen Watchmen, and I'd seen Man of Steel. I hadn't seen any of the other films.
No, I'd seen Watchmen, and I'd seen like the first 2/3 of Batman v Superman.
I hadn't seen 300, which is the film where everyone fell in love with him.
Yeah.
So like that could convince me. Dawn of the Dead is quite well reviewed.
Yeah.
Maybe that. No, there was no like we want to go in hating this.
Yeah.
When things were good, we pointed out that they were good.
Yes.
And when they weren't, we pointed out that they weren't.
Yeah.
And the latter outweighed the former.
I was going to say one happened more than the other. Yeah.
So what trends did we pick? Slow motion is the most obvious one. A lot of slow motion.
Yes, to the point where it was like worthy of note when a film was not relying on slow motion.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, I think there's like no slow motion.
And Batman v Superman, I think very little.
That's a weird one because for the first 2/3, it's like it's a Snyder film, but it's like a very well behaved Snyder film.
Yeah.
There's no obnoxious slow motion. The film, the color grading and everything, it's like sensible. And And then Doomsday shows up at the end, and then all of a sudden, there's slow motion, and it's like the screen is full of electricity.
Nothing's real.
And they're doing that fucking bullshit, whatever that Man of Steel thing is, where it's like this fake handheld zooming.
It's like a documentary. I think I traced that back to Battlestar Galactica, the reboot series.
Okay.
Because whenever they would be outer space dogfights, they would do that, you know?
Yeah.
But it worked with that, because the whole idea of Battlestar was, the reboot, was it's not Star Wars. It's the military in space. No lasers, they have bullets, and it's like, it's Iraq in space, essentially.
Right, okay.
So it worked for that, because it's like a Paul Greengrass thing going on. Not in a multi-million-dollar superhero
because in Man of Steel, and I think they do it in King of the Monsters as well.
Yeah.
It's been on other projects, but those are the main two that I know of. In that context, the purpose of it is to make it look more realistic, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's like, it'll convince people that the CGI is better than it is.
Yep.
Because it always happens. It never happens when Superman is talking to his dad.
No.
Or they're having a conversation with Russell Crowe. It's always like when the city's exploding, like, fucking zoom in. It's like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
Slow motion, that's the trend that we noticed. If you want to go outside of the films, a trend that I noticed was there seems to be most of Zack Snyder's films, they're either like a couple of hours short, like the theatrical cut's like a couple of hours shorter than the director's cut. Or there are instances where you've got people going, there was actually a scene that was cut out that actually makes the film a lot better.
Yeah.
If they just left it alone, this would be a much better film. It seemed to be like every film but Snyder did.
Did we talk about this? Like, they said, it explains this. Like, logical consistency is not the only thing I'm looking for in a film.
No.
Like, it now explains that bit. Like, okay, I guess that's good. But the actual the least I expect from a film is that it makes sense.
Yes.
Then it's got to like build on that with everything else.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
With art and theme and tone and craft.
Yes.
Now it makes sense.
Therefore good.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So that was a weird trend that I noticed that was emerging. Obviously, Snyder films have a very specific look to them.
Yeah, that fucking ugly colour. Ugh.
To the point where when we watched Dawn of the Dead, it was jarring that it didn't look... It was still like...
Yeah.
He was clearly trying to boost the contrast, because that's what Snyder's look is. From what I can tell, it's very high contrast, and it's very bright.
Yeah.
And it's very saturated image in terms of the intensity of the colours.
Yes.
But he then
he's trying to replicate comic books, essentially.
Yeah, trying to replicate comic books. But like on top of the saturated colours and everything, he then seems to filter that.
Yeah.
So that one colour prevails over the rest.
Yeah.
So in 300, it's got this kind of like sewagey, brown orange filter.
Yeah.
In like Sucker Punch, like it can change scene to scene, but it's like in the reality, quote unquote, it's very blue, and then it's got that sort of orange sludgy look in the fantasies. Man of Steel, there's kind of a bluish quality to a lot of it. Dawn of the Dead, like they've like
except the start of Man of Steel, which is basically he's trying to make Winter's bone.
Oh yeah,
you've got like Kansas, and it's all like the washing line.
Yeah,
and it's all grey and grim. You know?
Oh god. Dawn of the Dead doesn't look good.
No,
but it doesn't look good in the sense that most films of the time.
No, well, he hadn't become Snyder yet, had he? Like 300 was was his Shaun of the Dead, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting that like that the stylistic jump between 300, like Dawn of the Dead and 300. By the time you get to 300, that's Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
fully formed.
Yeah.
So it's sort of interesting that happened so quickly.
I think what it is, right, it's the Aerosmith thing. I think they said at the start of their career back in the 70s, he sang in a way that he thought he was expected to sing. So if you listen to Dream On and then listen to anything from the 90s, you would swear it was a different singer.
Right.
He's kind of behaving himself more in the earlier songs. But then when they became Aerosmith, all of a sudden it's like, you look like a lady. Yeah. All that shit.
Yeah.
But he does a lot.
You got to be careful. That's going to be cut out and sampled.
I don't care. Do it. Remix it. It's that. It's like, he's had a financial hit. Now, what do you want to do, Zack Snyder?
It was a
I want to do 300.
I'm gonna do like a historical drama. Oh, okay. Is it gonna be about like the Spartans? It's like, oh, you're gonna do a historical drama about Spartans. It's gonna be giant elephants. What? yeah, and they're gonna be like semi-naked, and they're gonna like there's gonna be blood, and they're gonna kill each other, and there's gonna be like this weird guy who has like a hunchback, but it's like he's made up of spheres. It's like, what are you talking about?
That's all very interesting on the storyboard. What's it about? Nothing. That's the USP.
Yeah,
it's not about anything. That's the one thing I liked about him, because 300's been criticized for being anti-Persian, and like about American jingoism and all that. And he's just like, it's not about anything. It's vacuous. It's
none of
nothing.
that in there whatsoever. Like, what is it about, Snyder? Oh, at one point, this guy says this is Sparta. Yeah, but what's it about? And then they go to the cliffs.
Yeah.
Snyder.
What's it about?
And then they fight each other for the rest of the film. Snyder!
What's it about? Muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a financial hit and a critical hit as well, Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
But taking that film in isolation, it didn't strike me as remarkable.
Not at all.
It's not the type of film where you look at that film and go, right, that director, give him everything.
No.
Give him all the resources, give him total control.
Yeah.
Let him make the film he wants to make.
Yeah.
It's a finely directed... It's just a directed film. It's like nothing... It's like
just the film,
going back to what we were saying about the editing in Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
Like, it's just directed.
It's just competent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and Dawn of the Dead is just competent. And weird, because the script is by James Gunn, and it's a weird script.
Yes.
But like the final not act necessarily, but the final momentum of the film, I started to like it a bit.
Yes.
But generally speaking, it's just this weird tone.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what it is, and the acting is terrible. And
they're sort of doing...
We'll return to this because we're doing the review of the film now.
Okay.
Should we go back to the overall trends?
Oh, yes, there are more.
There are more. Songs.
Yeah, he likes his songs, doesn't he?
It's like he Googles respected musicians and he goes for something folksy or country and western.
Yeah.
Like Leonard Cohen or Johnny Cash to show that he has good musical taste.
Yes. It's kind of annoying because like, yes, that is good musical taste, but I don't trust you.
I don't trust that it's his.
Yeah.
I think he knows it's like objectively, quote unquote, good music. And I think that you know what his music taste is because Sucker Punch, which is the Zack Snyder film.
Yeah.
The music is like basically...
it's all like new metal and...
New metal. Dawn of the Dead ends with Down With the Sickness.
Yeah.
And basically, not quite... It's new metal and like Within Temptation, that sort of music.
Yeah, symphonic
rock. Metal, yeah.
Symphonic metal.
Or Evanescence, that sort of thing. That's what he likes because he's a 14-year-old boy.
Steady on now. Okay. I like that kind of music as well, I'll be honest with you.
No, it has its place.
Yeah.
But that's clearly what he likes, what he wants to be doing, right? So there's that. A lot of them seem to culminate in sacrifices, but they have to be okay with it. It can't just be like this tragic moment. It's got to be, I'm going to die now, but I'm a man.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with dying. I knew I was going to die anyway, I don't care.
Dawn of the Dead, they do it. 300, they do it. Watchmen, they do it.
Sucker Punch, they
do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it in Man of Steel.
Well, in a way, but not... He doesn't die, but there is a sacrifice.
There is a sacrifice.
Yeah. But to be fair, he doesn't want to do it.
No, he doesn't. So neither one.
That's the exception.
Yeah. And...
Batman v Superman, there is.
Which one? Oh, yeah. Superman. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so apart from Man of Steel, every film ends in...
Sacrifice,
the main character, a character...
Yes.
Sacrificing themselves willingly.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's a weird thing to...
I mean, I guess...
Especially since a lot of the material he works with is... It's adapted material. It's not original material. Like, presumably...
No, I guess, like...
Like, Rorschach... Like, The Death of Superman is a comic book unto itself. Rorschach's death, I assume that's part of the original Watchmen canon.
Yes.
Like 300, it's like very, very loosely, but there are real events.
But that's based on a comic book as well.
Okay.
So, well, I guess any good story inherently has sacrifice, because, any good character arc, it's a character loses something to gain something else. So in that sense, all good stories have sacrifice.
Yeah.
But this almost like, like soldiers, like grizzled soldiers, like, we're men. We're old school American men.
Yeah.
And now we're going to take down those bastards, but we're going to die doing it. But it's more, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's that vibe that you get from his films. It's like manly men and you'll shed a tear, but they'll have fucking testosterone in it.
Yeah.
You know.
And then Sucker Punch, the same thing, but with women.
Both estrogen, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of estrogen. Yeah.
Oh, that was a trend as well. He likes his estrogen, does Zack Snyder?
Oh, he does. He does, yeah. He likes his latex and skimpy clothing.
Tets.
Yeah, tets.
Snyder. Shh. We're recording Snyder.
Yeah.
Tets. No, Snyder. Calm down.
What's it about? Yeah,
that was like a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Whenever, like... Right, yeah, so Dawn of the Dead, the film happens, and then it ends. Mm-hmm. And then the credits start. And then, like, it just cuts to camera footage of a woman stripping with the bra off.
Yeah. Tits. Yeah.
Like, I don't... And, like, how nice must Zack Snyder be that, as a woman, you would allow this director to shoot you topless, knowing that this is going to show up in the credits of the film?
I would imagine that's nothing to do with him being nice and everything to do with the two prongs of cha-ching and the kind of woman that would just be happy doing that.
But he seems to find those women a bunch, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of them, especially in Hollywood, I would have thought.
Right.
Please let me take my clothes off so I can become a film star. It's the casting couch thing, isn't it? Almost.
Right.
No, you know, that you get all the time, music videos, and I mean, you know, there are some women that genuinely just, they have no inhibitions about their body, good for them, and whatever, yeah, all right, I'll do it, I'll take my kit off, and then there are some that are just, will do anything to get in a film, you know. Homophobia, that was another...
Oh, that was indeed recurring, was it?
Not in all of them, but enough where it's like, okay, this pops up enough now.
Okay, do you have examples of homophobia?
Oh, God. So in Watchmen... a prostitute tries to lure Rorschach and he says no and she calls him a faggot or something like that.
Okay.
Dawn of the Dead, I can't remember. Oh yeah, there's a gay character.
Oh yeah.
And there's a scene where like two other characters are sort of locked up and he's talking about his past as a gay man. And they're like, oh dude, it's basically a comedy scene where they're being made uncomfortable by the gay guy. 300, Leonidas says, he kind of implies... Because the Greeks, you know, there's that whole culture of man-on-man action. And he says to, like, the envoy, like, oh, yeah, over there with you, but I can't remember the expression he uses. But it's basically like, yeah, over there, oh, yeah, you fags. But I can't remember what it was. I think there was one in Sucker Punch as well, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't remember.
But yeah, there was enough of it. But it comes from that same place of, like, a gay, you know.
Yeah.
That's his, yeah.
Just juvenile. Yeah, no real, like, threat behind it.
No.
Just like, you gay.
Yeah. It's,
that kind of attitude.
I think those were the dominant trends that I picked up on. So should we go by film then? Okay,
so Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Naked woman shows up in the credits. Yeah. And like, oh, this just happened.
To prove a point, well, not to prove a point, to demonstrate something that had already been demonstrated.
Yeah.
That Ty Burrell's character was a bit of a shallow Lothario.
Yeah, okay, so Dawn of the Dead, it starts out, I like the opening of Dawn of the Dead.
It's alright, yeah.
Yeah, like the pre-credit opening, the cold open, is this nurse in work. Zombie outbreak starts, she goes home, goes to bed, wakes up her husband. No, like a child in the neighborhood has been turned. She turns the husband, and as the nurse is escaping, the entire neighborhood is basically falling apart.
Yes,
it's going to shit. People are, and that's why it's kind of like a similar thing with Shaun of the Dead, which we pointed out. Like the comparisons were inescapable.
Oh yeah, you could,
even though they came out in the same year.
Yeah,
it seemed to be doing a lot of the same things. Like you see the neighborhood before the zombie apocalypse, and everyone's nice and happy and getting on, and then you see that exact same neighborhood afterwards. So you sort of have like a concrete point of comparison for. Well,
they're both operating in the shadow and legacy of the original Dawn of the Dead, aren't they?
Yes.
So there is that, you know, that they are kind of adhering to the prototype, you know.
Yeah.
So they came out the same year, and you can't help. And Shaun of the Dead is now the thing by which you compare all zombie movies.
Yes.
And it didn't hold up. I don't think Dawn of the Dead held up to the standard of Shaun of the Dead.
Because like you have that opening, which is like, okay, this is decent world building.
Yeah, it's alright.
And then it's alright. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then she like gets driven off the road and she crashes, and it cuts to the credits, and there's all this like news footage of the zombie apocalypse happening and how the governments are dealing with it and how the population are dealing with it. And I thought, oh, that scene has happened. We've now got this credit sequence, and that's going to bridge the gap. So when we come back into the film, months would have passed.
Yes.
Like, we're going to be in the thick of it. Societies are going to be like... You know, like The Walking Dead, where like these micro-societies
it's post-apocalyptic.
No.
Well, the thing is, I don't mind, like, you know, it's a nice idea of it all just plays out. You know, she escapes, then she crashes, and then she goes... But yeah, putting all the new stuff in does suggest a passage of time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it does.
This stuff is rooting.
Because it's not just talking about the initial incident. They do seem to be talking about the after effects of the outbreak. And it does feel like it's progressing towards a new time frame.
Especially considering the film does span months.
Yeah.
You know? If not like almost a year or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, you know. They're in that mall for a very long time.
Yeah. But yeah, so they come back and she's just there.
Yeah.
And then she teams up, like a cop finds her, and then they team up with a couple of other people and they end up in the mall. Mm-hmm. And like that, the first like bit of the film is just them kind of in the mall, dealing with the fact that they're in the mall and the zombies are outside and just setting up shop.
Yeah. Security guards, they're a bit douchey. And,
so they sort of get taken down a peg and whatnot. And then like there's this montage that's just like, what the fuck is going on? Where it's sort of like time has passed. Like Ty Burrell is like fucking this woman who I don't think we didn't even know we'd seen her before.
No.
It feels like she just turns up.
Yeah.
But that's like you were saying about like the naked woman in the credits.
Yes, that was the point.
That was the point. He's a bit of a perv.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've seen him fucking this woman and recording it on camera. So why...
Didn't need that.
No, we didn't need that. You've got like the gay guy being like, oh, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Like they're playing golf and like...
a Richard Cheese rendition of a song that I can't remember.
Down with the Sickness.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going... Like, this is not the film that it's been up until this point.
No. We liked one thing in that early stage.
Yes.
And that was the guy on the opposite roof.
Yeah. They seem to form they're set up in the mall and they seem to form a relationship with somebody who's on the roof of a gun store opposite the mall.
Yeah.
And we never, ever see from his perspective.
No, it's always through binoculars from a distance. Like, good directing.
It's good directing because you're sort of being put in the same position as the characters, where this is the only way that you can bond with this character.
I gotta say, simple directing 101. Like, oh, we're in these characters' shoes, therefore it's always from there.
Yeah.
But the fact that he did something that was just basically good made it like stand out. Like,
oh wow,
he's doing something with a degree of knowledge of the form. But yeah. So we liked that.
We liked that, and then a zombie baby shows up.
Yeah, I hated that.
That's like...
It's just, well done. Very grown up.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing, it is a James Gunn script, so you have to question, like, how much of this is Zack Snyder?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
But we attributed that to Zack Snyder, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, it's quite interesting now, isn't it, that both of them have ended up making films in the DC EU.
Yeah.
And you can kind of compare them.
Yeah, that we have almost like a direct...
Yeah.
It's almost a shame Snyder didn't do Suicide Squad, because then we would have a literal direct comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, the zombie baby, that's just like, I don't know why... it must... Like, it felt so distasteful.
Well, because horror's an interesting one, right? I think in the genre films like that, sometimes it's okay to laugh when you're supposed to be repulsed. It didn't feel like one of those moments that was like you're meant to go, oh god, and then when they kill it off screen, you had enough.
Yeah, we didn't see the zombie baby exploding or whatever. Yeah,
but you're meant to go, oh man, god, yeah, this is how badly things have gone. You know, this is where we're at. This is where society is at now.
Yeah,
but it's just ridiculous. It just reminds you of the Train Spotting baby. It did me anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, when the pregnant woman showed up, I think I said to you, we're going to get a zombie baby.
Yeah.
I just knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I wanted it. I wanted it to be that kind of film.
Okay.
But the problem is, everything around it was not that kind of film. But no, I wanted a stupid zombie film where all of a sudden there's a zombie baby trying to claw its way out of the vag.
Yeah.
But it's not. They treat it like really elegiacally and like it's really this weighty drama.
I suppose.
And when the main actress can't even act.
Yes, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. But she can write, though, right? Yeah,
she's an acclaimed filmmaker, but acting not her greatest strength.
Maybe she just hadn't realised it yet.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah, I think that's another overarching thing that we noticed with Snyder is the just tone deafness.
Oh, he can't... he can't penetrate the meaning of anything.
No.
He doesn't know when things are important and when things should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely 0 sense. Yeah, it's like he's Sam Reese, the common Sam Reese allegation. What do I accuse people?
Oh, right, okay. Oh, you can't even bring yourself to say... That's cowardly,
I'll say it. I just wanted you to fill the gap.
Okay.
Autistic.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not. But his directing approach, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Yeah, so Dawn of the Dead. We liked the guy on the roof, and we liked, I think you did as well, the final sequence. So yeah, it was pretty entertaining.
Oh, were they...
In the vans.
Yeah, in the vans, going through the... Yeah, I did like that.
That when it it became the film it always should have been.
Yeah.
It was going mental, and you had chainsaw out the side of the truck. And
it's like, okay, I'm sort of with it now.
Quite like Michael Kelly, like he,
Yeah.
And we quite like Ty Burrell.
Yes. He's trying too much.
He is trying too much, but he wasn't Phil Dunphy to me, which was the biggest kind of praise.
I suppose that would be more of an achievement if he had been Phil Dunphy first.
Yeah, I mean, but obviously first as far as we're concerned.
Yes. Yeah. So I suppose that's nice.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the ending, right?
Oh yeah. It's we'll explain what it is. Some get away after one of them sacrifices himself.
Yes.
The rest get away, and actually, let's briefly talk about the fact that all of a sudden the two main characters start making out, and like, oh, was there meant to be romance brewing?
Oh yeah,
this whole time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's what a film does.
Because when the group first meet, you've got Ving Rhames' cop. I can't remember the lead actor, Sarah Polley maybe, the lead actress, and guy from Medium. Yeah. Anyone else? And the pregnant woman.
Yeah, pregnant woman.
And her
boyfriend. Yeah.
So when, what are the archetypes going to be? Because I wish it'd just been them 5, to be honest.
Yeah.
But when they get to them all, it's like, okay, Ving Rhames is like the hero. She's female hero. She's heroine. And then Medium Man is going to go insane. He's going to be the David. He's going to lose his shit and become the human villain. He didn't. No. Nothing like that happened. He just...
Everyone was who they were from the start.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he starts making out with... It's like, no. Especially because I know that guy... I haven't seen Medium, but in Homeland, where he basically plays Alex Jones, and The Following, where he plays a cult leader.
Yeah.
And that, I think his look as well lends itself to play those weirdo outsiders. And when he's supposed to be, you were meant to be the romantic male lead.
Yeah.
No. No, definitely not.
And I don't even know if that was set up.
No, it wasn't.
I really don't remember if there were moments where it was like, oh, are they going to try and do
it just happens. Like, I didn't know I was supposed to be kind of,
and
predicting
this. Yeah.
Anyway, the ending. So some of them get away on a boat.
Medium Man sacrifices
himself. The rest get away on a boat. And
because the whole point of the end of the film is they find out that there is an island.
Yeah.
If they go to this island, then there won't be any zombies there, so they can just live on this island in peace. And I said to you, I don't quite understand. They're in a mall.
Yeah, why would you leave?
Why would you go to an island?
Why would you... Yeah,
There's less on an island than there is in a mall.
If you asked the cast of Lost, would you prefer to be here foraging for food, fish and coconuts, or would you like to be in a mall that has Mars bars and stuff?
Mars bars and beds and clothing and heating and, no zombies.
And sure, it's all it's on a countdown. Supplies are going to run out.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be in that position than on an island.
Where you have no supplies from the start.
Yeah. And if you run out of supplies, you have to no longer be on the island.
Yeah.
Draw the mall, we've run out of stuff. Okay, let's go find another mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So they get to this island and the film ends. The film ends with the guy, letting himself die.
You just had this emotional moment where the romantic male lead is
blows his head off.
Yeah, the zombies are behind him.
Yeah.
And he raises the gun to the bottom of his head and cut to black, hear the gunshot.
Yeah.
Just sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
Ooh, then fucking Down with the Sickness starts playing.
Yes, yeah, it does, yeah. Down with the Sickness. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in mid credits.
Yeah.
It's
after we've seen the naked woman.
Yeah, on the book. Because the gimmick is that they found the camcorder on Ty Burrell's boat.
Yeah.
And the old footage is him with just naked women.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're just filming their shenanigans on the boat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know.
It becomes Cloverfield all of a sudden.
I suppose you could say, it was set up earlier because he films himself fucking the woman in the...
But that's not set... You still need a reason for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You haven't set it up, you've just shown him doing it on a different occasion.
Yeah, and so fine, yeah, he owns a camera.
Yeah.
So, so they just start filming each other, and then they get to this island. Bear in mind, the story... Are we in agreement that anything after the credits begin is a nice little add-on?
That's why I was... I think this is going back to the very first episode. We talked about Spider-Man Far From Home. And I said that one of my irritations with that film is the fact that J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson reveals Peter Parker as Spider-Man mid-credits.
Yeah.
When the credits roll, the film is over. Anything in the credits is like a treat.
Yes. Yeah, you can't resolve the story in the credits.
You can't, no. Yeah.
And they do. And the resolution is they get to the island. We got to the island. And then they hear rumblings. And then a horde of zombies overpower them and kill them all.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
The ending that we literally just happened. That hopeful, that guy sacrificed himself so they could get away and start a new life. Nope.
Yeah.
They're all dead.
It set a tone because that's such a nihilistic...
Yeah.
I'm all for horror film stuff that just leave you with this emptiness and just the point is, isn't life dark?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But that wasn't the film we watched.
But Saint Maud prepares you for that. Relic prepares you for that.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead did not prepare us for that.
No, and it's not we were unprepared and shocked. No, it's just it was wrong.
Yeah.
It was the wrong ending for that film.
Yeah.
They all die. You're like, all right, well that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Exactly. What was learned?
Yeah.
You even if everyone dies, something Relic is a bleak ending. But there's growth. They they make their peace, don't they, with her situation?
Yes.
They accept it, and that's symbolised by the three of them on the bed together. And it makes that nice point about we're all going in that way, you know? This they just all die. Yeah, they just all die. Why not?
Yeah.
Characters that we were meant to grow to love over the course of the film. It has this, funereal ending with a guy killing himself, then disturbed as the rest of them are killed, including our two main characters.
Yeah.
Nihilistic, and I just realised, I should have known. It was me being punished because we got to that third act and I was like, oh, it's been all right. It's been okay, this.
Yeah.
And then Zack Snyder went, I will make you hate it. And he did. And so,
So I guess credit to him for achieving his goal of making us hate it.
Yep. So that was Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, not a recommendation.
Not a recommendation.
No. And that was his best critically acclaimed film.
It is.
That was the one that was right.
Yeah.
If there's going to be anything, it's this. And we're like, shit, we've got 5 films left.
Yep.
So the next one was 300.
It was.
It's just boring, honestly.
Really boring.
Really, really boring.
I wanted it to be a lot camper than it was.
Yeah, that looks like the campest film of all time, doesn't it? If you watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's really not.
No.
It's structurally quite boring because you have all the stuff in the beginning in Sparta.
Yeah.
Where King Leonidas is he goes up a mountain to speak to a bunch of people in weird costumes. And they're like, oh, let's
Oracles.
Oracles. And they're like, oh, let's ask this woman with the tits.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? She's like, oh, you're all going to die.
Yeah.
And Leonidas is like, that's not going to happen. I'm going to take 300 of my finest men and we're going to go to this random opening in the cliff and we're basically going to stay there for the rest of the film while all of these armies try and kill us unsuccessfully until eventually they do.
Yeah.
And that's the film. There's a bit of you cut back to Sparta every now and again. King Leonidas' wife, who he fucks very graphically.
Yeah.
She's there's a guy in Sparta who's trying to...
Dominic West,
who's trying to make her out to be this traitor.
Yeah, they tried to put in this political intrigue, so you've got the actiony stuff and then you've got the highbrow stuff, I guess. None of it works.
Yeah.
So no, that didn't exactly... Because we were like, okay, and now we will see why people fell in love with him. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
The only thing, I remember all of the moments that were in the trailer, I remembered them as they showed up.
Yeah.
It's I know that.
This is Sparta.
This is Sparta.
Yeah.
Tonight we dine in hell.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
And outside of that, there was nothing.
No.
The only thing was that side-on shots, tracking shot of Leonidas cutting his way through the army, which is often that's often used as the quintessential Zack Snyder shot,
right?
Because it's full of speed ramping and motion ramping, and it's cutting between different camera distances and all that sort of stuff. But for me, that just kind of epitomized what doesn't work about his style. Because why would you, like, in your opinion, Sam, why would you employ slow motion?
Slow motion?
Yeah.
Generally speaking?
Yes.
I suppose when a character is in... Well, in life, right, sometimes when something really dramatic or unexpected happens, or something out of your control, it's as though things happen in slow motion.
Yes.
So that sort of thing, you know, when like in The Sopranos, that someone's having dinner, and all of a sudden it goes slow-mo. Like, why has it gone slow-mo? And then blood spatters on his face. He's like, oh. And then the guy next to him's been shot, and it goes back into normal speed.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that there's sort of two reasons, two overarching reasons that you would ever employ slow-mo in a film. The first one is that you want to draw attention to that moment.
Yeah, to the detail.
To the detail, whether it's like a specific beat in the fight that you have to follow. Like, oh, this is the first moment that the hero wounds the villain, or, you know, like something like that. Like, we want to draw attention to this moment because this is a key moment in the fight, or key moment in the film that the audience have to process. And the second one I would say is, like, you want to give the audience a chance to catch their breath. Yeah. It's a comma in the sentence that is that sequence.
Yes, it's the eye of the storm as all the shit is going around.
Yes. Zack Snyder has done it because he thinks it's cool.
Everything he does is because he thinks it's cool.
It's because he thinks it's cool. The problem with doing it because he thinks it's cool is that he's actually contradicted both of the reasons that I've just given. Right. Because every single strike from Leonidas is in slow motion. Yeah. And every, like, transition between those moves, it goes back up to, like, normal speed and then slow motion. Yeah. Swings his sword again, slow motion. Constantly. Yeah. There's like 20 times he hits, like, different people in this sequence, and every single one of them. Yeah. So, like, if the idea is that, like, you're drawing attention to that moment, the fact that you're drawing attention to every moment, it means that no moment takes precedence over the other. Yeah. So we're not considering any moment more important. It's like, it's the same thing as if this scene was playing at normal speed. It's just taking less time. Yeah. And you can't be... And the other problem is, like, you can't be the comma in the sentence, because it would be the same thing as putting a comma after every single word. Yes. It's so stodgy. Yeah. You've completely ruined the rhythm of that fight sequence because it's slowing down constantly. Yeah. Yeah, that's just, like, for me, that just epitomized everything wrong with this filmmaking. Yeah. It's like, you've done it because it's cool, and you've, like, mishandled that technique so much that you've ruined the sequence, basically. Yeah. I mean, I wrote the last script I wrote. I remember I put in a slow motion moment, but I couldn't remember what it was. I just looked at it. It's basically when the main character realizes he's fallen in love with somebody as they're on a stage, and everything around him slows. Yes. So yeah, things like that. Yeah. Not because it's an important beat in the story that the audience need to process.
Right. Yeah. Not because it's cool.
No.
Yeah.
No, of course not. And in fairness to Snyder, I suppose most big budget films that use slow motion because it's cool. Yes. The frequency of the slow motion in that sequence is why it's I've taken exception.
Yeah. No, it's overused. Yeah. Definitely. Do we have anything else to say about that film? Because it is forgettable. Yeah. Weirdly enough, it's forgettable.
There really is nothing to say about it. It's so artificial. Yeah. It might be apart from Sucker Punch, we'll get to it when we get to it, but it might be the most artificial Zack Snyder film. Yeah, nothing real. Nothing real. Yeah. Yeah. Like, even the sets, which they do kind of look like physical sets.
They probably built a little bit, didn't they? And CGI
but the physical sets of Sparta, it's almost like they've deliberately built it to scale wrong. Right. Like in the old Godzilla films where they built tiny cities so that a normal sized man looks like the size of Godzilla. Yeah. It looks like they've done that. Like, the buildings are too stubby for real humans to live in them. Yeah. So it doesn't nothing looks real. Nothing feels real. Yeah. There's one moment where, like, I think someone punches an elephant off a cliff, and that was kind of amusing.
Yeah, we liked that. Yeah. But few and far between. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's 300.
Yeah, don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
If you've seen the trailer, you've watched it. You've seen the best version of 300.
Yeah, all you need to know is this is Sparta. That's the one. Yeah, the salient thing of that film. Yeah. Watchmen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Watchmen.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me that, like, at one time you held this film in very high regard?
When it first came out, it was probably my favourite film. Yeah. I hadn't read the graphic novel. I was a teenager, so I was into superhero stuff. And it seemed like it was, I guess what it was to a lot of teenagers that read it. It was a mature superhero thing.
Yes.
It had all this, it was dealing with alternate history and had all these themes and all this stuff going on. I was like, oh, this is really grown up.
Yeah.
When I was 14, 15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we watched Watchmen immediately after 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Just that kind of night.
Because we weren't pressed for time. We just did. Yeah, it's just like, But yeah, we put it on, and like the opening sequence happened where the comedian is killed, and then that leads into the infamous title sequence where it's all in slow motion.
Yes.
But it's sort of telling the story, telling this alternate history that has led to...
Yeah, all the backstory, basically.
Yeah, like the Vietnam War.
Yeah. The Minutemen and all that.
The Minutemen and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I remember turning to you saying, this is working.
Yeah.
This is really working
really good.
for me. It seems like we've found what Zack Snyder should be doing in the realm of film.
Even the opening sequence, the comedian, we quite liked. That was pretty good.
There's like one instance of slow motion, I think, in that sequence.
Yes. Yeah, one. Yeah.
But other than that, it's a choreographed fight sequence.
Yeah.
There's impact to the moves, even though there's still a lot of CG going on.
Yeah.
Because it's so rooted in a style that was existent in the graphic novel, it makes the transition comfortably. It holds its weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that you pointed out as the film was going on, is that Watchmen, as far as source materials go, Watchmen is kind of incorruptible.
I think that's the thing, because we, generally speaking, we quite liked Watchmen.
Yeah,
right?
like as time was going on, I was growing more weary of it. But there was never a point where it tipped over into being bad.
Yeah. But I think that comes down to Watchmen is an unbreakable story.
Yeah.
And it has a certain resistance to dumbassery.
Yes.
Snyder could only do so much damage to that property.
Yes.
And yeah, he was generally behaving himself. He clearly reveres it.
Yeah.
I think I heard that all the people on set had to walk around with copies of the graphic. Everything had to refer back to the graphic
Every
novel.
shot had to match the frame, the panel.
And when you watch it, you realise how resolutely he committed to that. Like all that opening stuff. It's like, I like shot frame for frame. That's the graphic novel. I am a big fan of the graphic novel.
Yes.
So it's kind of unbreakable, and it's a decent film. He did the best he could.
Okay.
I think, right?
Yeah.
He did the best he could.
Yeah. Is Watchmen adaptable?
I don't think for a film.
I think that's the question that we need to answer to figure out whether he did a good job or not, isn't it? It's like, is Watchmen adaptable?
I think it is adaptable, but I think film is the wrong medium. I think it's a miniseries.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it needed the HBO.
Yeah, it's treatment. Kind of like, I appreciate that Lindelof did a sequel series rather than doing a full-blown remake, but it has kind of made me interested in seeing a miniseries adaptation of the Watchmen graphic novel.
Well, obviously, Lindelof reveres it so much. There's like, the graphic novel must just be considered canon.
Yeah.
That happened, and now we're telling everything that happened.
Yeah. After. And like the graphic, that story, I haven't read the graphic novel.
Yeah.
But given how much reverie there is around it, it does seem like one of those instances where we don't really need an adaptation.
Reverence.
Reverie
is like just staring off into the clouds. Like indifference.
Well, you do. You read it and you're so impressed by it, you're just like, fuck. And you're just staring off into the distance. There's so much reverence for it that it sort of like doesn't need an adaptation. It's like, it's perfect
fine.
as it is.
Yeah.
The only reason you would do an adaptation is just so we have it in a visual format.
Kind of,
if you want it.
Well, I mean, it sort of already is, isn't it? But I mean,
the moving. Pictures.
It's a great thing, and it doesn't need an adaptation. That's the kind of story it is, though. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, it would just also be a great film if done well. So, as much as I love that novel, why not? It's so iconic, and the imagery and the story, and it's just such a brilliant story. Why wouldn't you try and make a good film from it?
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with that.
There was also clear jump in quality in the dialogue from 300 to Watchmen and then back down to Sucker Punch.
Yeah. It's, obviously different screenwriters, but also they're taking a lot from the graphic novel. Yeah. So again, there's only so much he can do to...
Yeah, just like the fanciful constructions of the ideas that they're expressing in 300. No, in Watchmen. And then you go back to 300, like, Spartans!
Yeah.
Tonight, sweet as... So, like...
Yeah.
Really, you can tell the respect. You can see the respect that Snyder had for Watchmen.
Yeah.
And if that led to the situation where Snyder was behaving himself, then yeah, I suppose it's a good thing that he did what he did. And I think that because the one major change with the film is that the final event of spoilers for Watchmen,
I guess, yeah.
Okay, the final event in the graphic novel brought about by Ozymandias is that he tricks the world into thinking that a giant alien squid is invading.
Well, he creates one.
Oh, he creates
one, teleports it to New York. The resulting shockwave kills millions of people. And yeah, it convinces America and indeed the world that an alien species is attacking them.
Yes.
And so that ends the Cold War because everyone unites against the common enemy.
Yes, because Watchmen is taking place during the Cold War, and they as far as Ozymandias is concerned, the only way to bring about world peace is through this sacrifice.
It's actually
sacrificing the people of New York.
We watched The Dark Knight yesterday and thinking about there's a lot of overlap with the ultimate message of that film, isn't it? Is that sometimes the truth isn't good enough, people deserve to have their faith rewarded, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot going on there. But, yes, so that's the graphic novel.
That's the graphic novel, and in the film it's been changed so that Ozymandias harnesses the power of Dr. Manhattan, and he basically blows up like multiple cities around the world using Manhattan's power.
Oh, just New York.
Oh, it's New York.
Yeah.
No, I thought there was like screens showing London and Beirut or whatever.
Was there?
I think there was.
Okay, all right. Okay, maybe then. I don't know. That's certainly not in the in the graphic novel. Okay, maybe he was doing it in those places.
Well, at the very least, he blows up New York, pretending it to be Dr. Manhattan. And the same thing is achieved. The governments of the world unite against the common enemy, but that enemy is Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
I think you said that Snyder said it would take too long to explain
the squid. Like the squid. It's such a weird thing. It would take ages.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest. I've always thought, and I still think that might be a better ending.
Yeah,
because it's a character that we know.
It's a character that we know. The tragedy is more potent.
He's already expressed that he doesn't really want to be amongst humans anymore.
Yeah, but also it's just after. He's been convinced to return and save humanity,
even
and now
tragic,
he's been punished.
He's the first to kind of come round to the idea. He's like, no, he is right.
Yeah,
you know.
It's a cleaner resolution to that story.
Yes,
which is nice.
Yeah.
What else? So it couldn't possibly be Snyder's idea.
No, exactly.
We don't know that.
What else did we like about it? We liked Jackie Earl Haley is brilliant.
Which one was he?
Rorschach.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's really great.
And you know, the things that were great in the graphic novel, basically.
Yeah. What
were the missteps?
You did say, I think you pointed out at one point that Patrick Wilson is sitting next to his night owl costume.
Yeah.
Sort of with this look of despair about him.
Impotence,
yeah. And you said that that's like one of the iconic frames from the panel, from the iconic panels from the book. It's him.
Rorschach says to him, he says, Night Owl says to Rorschach, we had a lot of great times down here, what happened? And then as Rorschach walks into the darkness, he says, you quit. And then, he just sits down in front of his old costume with like his head in his hands. Yeah. And it's just this brilliant,
and in the panel, like the background of the armor, it's like shining, it stands out, and that effect is lost a little bit because of Zack Snyder's style.
Yes.
Because everything has to be so dark and high contrast. And
well, that was the big mist. It's still too surface.
Yeah.
It's still too costumey, and and the sex scene. No.
Yeah.
That was a big no.
Yeah, just for that gag at the end where he's playing Leonard Cohen's Alleluia.
Alleluia.
Hallelujah, yeah. And it reaches the chorus of Alleluia as
she reaches climax.
Climax, and also she fires the flamethrower on the ship. So it's a combination of all this.
Yes.
No, not really, Zack Snyder. No,
it just wasn't needed.
No,
I mean, the beat, as it were, is needed.
Yeah,
because the whole point is, they tried to have sex in Night Owl's house, but he can't get hard. And then after they do something heroic, like the old days, it invigorates him with purpose again.
Yeah.
So they have sex on his airship. That's fine. I didn't need to see the whole thing play out in kind of real time.
Yeah.
Just
for that little comedic beat at the end.
Yeah.
Which I didn't laugh.
I don't think it's a comedic beat, is it? It's supposed to be like a victory. Like, he's back. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. And the fire kind of punctuates that. But it seemed too much of Zack Snyder going, yeah, he's a man.
Yeah.
Now. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about Watchmen?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
It's I think I recommend it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
just for the story.
If you're unfamiliar with Watchmen, I think I would recommend the graphic novel first.
Oh, yeah.
This is not like this shouldn't really be
actually no. If you're thinking about watching the film, watch the film first and then improve upon it by reading the graphic novel.
Okay.
If you read the thing first, it's not going to live up to it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. Sucker punch.
Okay. All right. So we were ranking these films, weren't we?
We'll do that at the end as well.
We'll do that at the end.
But yes, we were.
We were ranking these films. And we were of the assumption that nothing was going to bottom under Justice League.
Yeah.
Justice League is going to be the worst, if not for its 4-hour runtime, just for the misery that was the experience.
Yes.
Sucker Punch gave it a real run for its money.
It did. And it's half the length.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour film about...
Tits.
Genuinely. What is it supposed to be about? It's about a girl who
has
accidentally... we'll get to that in a second, but... Her tits. She lives with an abusive stepfather.
Yeah.
With her sister.
Yeah.
And she accidentally kills her sister.
Yeah, she's trying to...
defend her against...
Yeah, vengeance upon the father.
Yes.
But kills the sister by accident, so he has her admitted, yeah. To mental health asylum or hospital asylum. Or
a loony bin.
Loony bin.
That's from like the 50s,
yes.
Basically. And then she's there.
Yeah.
And they go to...
And then she's not.
And then they go to lobotomize her.
Yeah.
And then she's not there.
No.
And it's a play on a stage in a church.
Yeah.
In a club or something.
Yeah, the asylum is now like a...
cosplay, basically. It's a fetish show. Right?
Yeah.
Where like a woman is pretending...
It's like a club from the 40s where it's like, and now we have the... the dancing girls.
Yes.
Give them an applause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she's there with a bunch of other inmates at the asylum, but as dancing girls.
Yeah.
And then characters keep asking her to dance all the time. Yeah. And then whenever she dances, it goes into these fantasy sequences, like another layer of reality. Before we talk about those, though, whenever she comes back to reality, quote unquote, everyone's like teary-eyed at how like her dancing has just moved something in them.
Yeah.
And we never got to see it, which I feel a bit robbed. I felt a bit robbed by.
Okay.
Like you see the bit at the end, maybe, but like she starts to do it.
Yeah.
And then she dies. Do you know what I mean? I know like realistically it's going to be hard to depict a kind of dance that you'll understand why they're all sobbing. Well, I think
when we reviewed Bill and Ted, whenever we did that, they say that like, oh, it's the song that it's going to bring the world together.
Yeah.
And we were sort of saying like, you kind of can't play that song. No,
you can't. Unless it was like a song their first song they wrote.
Yes.
And it's about rediscovering.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's unless it has that kind of thematic importance.
It can't just be a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's sort of a similar thing. It's like her dancing is supposed to be so incredible that it lulls everybody into a trance. We can't really see it.
I completely understand that, but I just think it's a bit of a cop-out considering that she's just an ordinary girl. What is this dancing?
Yeah.
What's the secret of this? Why is she? How does she have the skills?
It's not even as if like when they're admitting her to the asylum, it's not even like, oh, I see that she's a premium ballet.
No.
Like she has a history of dance. Or
when they are admitting her though, given that she lives with an abusive stepfather and she wears her hair in pigtails, they have to make sure the audience knows.
Oh yeah.
That we see him writing age 20.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's not creepy.
It's fine.
Yeah. She's not underage. It's fine to ogle her tits.
And he gets one of the female characters to say, I completely understand the schoolgirl thing. The fact,
Yeah.
So like if the women are fine with it, we were fine with it. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah. It's okay. So she goes into these fantasy sequences. First in like Japanese mountain ice.
It's like a samurai
sensei ninja thing.
Samurai sensei ninja Japan
thing
world. But they have Gatling guns.
And
they're robots maybe.
Yeah.
Because Zack Snyder is, as you said, a 14-year-old boy.
No film is more evident than that one. That he's doing whatever the fuck he thinks is cool.
Yeah.
He wants to do a bit in Japan. All right, I'll do that, but he's got Gatling guns.
Yeah.
And then what's the next one?
The next one, it's World War One.
Yeah.
It's the trenches of World War One.
It's kind of cyberpunky and
steampunk Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What's the one after that?
It's a dragon in a castle.
Yeah.
But they're fighting.
They've got guns again.
And I think maybe the soldiers on the ground have weapons.
They're like orcs, aren't they?
Oh yeah. It's full-blown fantasy. There's an egg in the dragon.
Is there another? And the next one's a train.
Oh yeah, it's a train in space.
Yeah.
It's a train in space, and they have to. There's robots on the train, which look worse than the iRobot robots.
Yes, so there's all these things going on, and what's the idea? The idea is they're trying to escape the asylum.
They're trying to escape the asylum,
and so the real world, the real world is the asylum.
Yes,
and then the next level down in the Inception dream-like thing is the club.
Is the theatre.
Which is where we mainly see them.
Yes.
That's where they plan to escape. They're talking about their escape from the asylum.
Yeah.
But in this club.
In this reality, yeah.
And in that reality, they have to go around stealing a bunch of different items, like a video game.
Yes.
To have all the things to escape.
And in order for them to steal the items, Sweet Pea, which is the name of the main character. Yeah.
I think so. It's one of them, anyway.
Yeah, one of them, Sweet Pea. Yeah. She has to do a dance that enraptures people so that they can go off and steal the thing.
Yeah, to distract them.
Yeah.
So, and whenever she does that, we descend into a fantasy sequence.
Yeah.
That kind of represents what they're doing.
Supposedly, yeah.
In the not even reality.
Yes.
And then they get all the stuff. Some people die. Oscar Isaac is there. Being a bad guy.
Yeah, and then they go to escape the asylum, and then there's like 5 people standing by the exit, and Sweet Pea's like, well, we're obviously not going to make it.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, because she's escaping with a girl who's been resistant to the idea all the way through.
Yes.
But finally she accepted it.
Yeah.
And then she said, oh, and Sweet Pea goes, oh, it's not my story, it's your story.
Right.
Like, no, we've seen your backstory, Sweet Pea. It's very much your story.
Yeah.
But then she
sacrifices
herself. Yeah. She doesn't use this enrapturing dance.
No.
To like distract them so they can run away.
And that would be the moment, because it's the kind of the climax of the film where we finally get to see it.
Not only that,
a bit of it.
But they also set up the fact that she can't dance without music, because Zack Snyder is a 14-year-old boy, and he clearly wants to direct music videos.
Yeah.
So all of these action sequences take place to music.
Yes.
Which in the first layer of unreality is just the music that she's dancing to.
Yeah.
And then in the second layer of non-reality, it's the non-diegetic soundtrack to the fight sequence.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moment where they're trying to steal from the chef, who's just a chef.
That's annoying.
Because like in this like theatre reality, they all take on different personas. Oscar Isaac is
Oscar Isaac, who's the doctor, an orderly.
He's the orderly.
The main kind of corrupt orderly in the asylum.
Yeah.
He's the club owner.
Yes.
Who's abusive to the kind of girl.
Yeah, and then like one of the janitors is the mayor of the town in this fantasy.
They all take on different things. But then the chef in the asylum is the chef of the club.
He's just a chef.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And they have to steal a knife from him. There's no like esoteric, like no, it's just steal a knife from the chef.
Yeah, there's no wrapping it in kind of fantasy depiction of it. There's no, But
during that sequence, the music stops and Sweet Pea stops dancing.
Yeah.
Indicating that she cannot dance without music.
Yes.
Surely any sensible writer would know that if you're going to set up that she cannot dance without music, the end of the film will require her to dance without music.
Yes.
She does not have music prepared, but if she doesn't dance, they will be captured by these people.
Yeah.
So she dances without music.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
And I tell you what, I'm just going full script doctor on this now.
Okay.
The film starts with
God, don't do that. You'll never end.
I know. I'll never get practice up and running. Her mother dies, right?
Yeah.
And that's what she's left with the abusive stepfather. You have a scene at the beginning where she's scared by the abusive stepfather, and the mother's like, when you have those moments, just imagine music.
Yeah.
Imagine music in your head. When she's like cowering into the bed, it's like, it's okay. Just think of the music. And then she goes through all the stuff of the film, and at the end, she remembers her mother saying that to her, and then she dances to the music in her head.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. And they both get away.
The most basic, like, setup, payoff, character,
Also, like now that we're in it, now that we're in the trenches with this bullshit.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a film that takes place in multiple layers of reality,
yeah,
and these multiple layers of reality are happening simultaneously,
yeah,
surely the events in one reality are going to affect the events in another.
Yeah, so we compared it to Inception, because that was the most obvious.
Which came out the year before.
The year before, yeah. Yeah, it was like, what else did we see where... Yeah, Justice League, actually. And I said, after The Dark Knight, there is no excuse for this.
No.
And watching Sucker Punch, dealing with the dreams and fantasy and reality, a year after Inception, it's like, how do you have the audacity...
Yeah.
To try and make a film, think you can make a film like this a year after Inception.
Exactly.
But you're not improving it. It's all just so much worse.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because because we find out at the end, right? So at the beginning of the film, she goes to get the lobotomy, right?
Yes.
John Hamm, who's just there, he's the doctor who gives her a lobotomy, and he's about to put the thing in her eye.
Yeah.
And then you hear cut off screen.
Yeah.
And we're in the theatre reality.
Yeah.
Where the main girl, who ends up being the girl that escapes at the end.
Yeah.
Is playing Sweet Pea.
Yeah. In like a fetish play kind of thing.
So immediately you're like, okay, this is odd.
Yes.
Because the character that you're playing also exists within this reality.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that transition was.
It's another person, yeah.
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 But when she dances, and that takes them off down to like another plane in reality, the connection there is no, in the film, there is no connection there.
Yeah.
She's just conducting this fight sequence in another plane of reality.
Yeah.
It's not like the geography of the dojo matches the room that she's in. It's not like her dance moves mimic her fight choreography.
Yeah.
There's no connection. It's just happening now.
Yeah.
That's, as a scriptwriter, that's what you do. You forge a connection between those two scenes.
Yeah.
Her dance choreography and her fight choreography are identical.
Yeah.
Or like her going to get the map. That plays into...
Or even something like, I'm thinking of ending things, where you can infer the reality by the surreality of what's happening in the fiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, even if it's not cutting back and forth. Maybe she like does a ballerina twirl to like take out the samurai.
Yeah.
It's a bit on the nose, but it's like, okay, her dance is influencing...
Yeah, exactly. Cutting back and forth between... Like the whole thing in Inception, you know, the obvious one is when the van... goes off the bridge, and then all of a sudden in the second tier, it becomes zero gravity.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yes.
None of that.
No.
None of that. It's just like... But the problem is, we've said this before about other things, I'm sure. When you can do anything, nothing means anything.
Yeah.
It's like, it could have been in a, I don't know, a French chateau that was guarded by demon crocodiles.
That's another problem is that those fight sequences are just cool fight sequences.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's just what he wanted to do. Like, they're not rooted, like, because she's obviously imagining it all.
Yeah.
It's not like it has any connection to her character.
That's what it should do.
Her past.
Whatever sequence she ends up in should tell us something about Sweet Pea as a character.
Yeah, or at the very, very least, like the most contrived thing. But like, if she's doing her dance and there's a person watching her with cowboy boots, and all of a sudden it's the Wild West, something like that, you know?
Or like she ends up in, it's not creative enough for Zack Snyder, I know, but she ends up in like a distorted fantasy version of her home, where she's being hunted by the stepfather. The sequences reflect. Like, it's not just some random fight sequence where she's defeating ninjas. Yeah. She's defeating the monsters in her real life.
Yes, and the further they descend...
Monster versions of the people that have, like, wronged her through her life.
Yeah, like, the more items they collect and the deeper that she's going into...
The more fucked up and distorted they become.
Yes, but the deeper she goes, the closer she gets to being able to escape, she gets closer to confronting all the demons that got her there in the first place. Yeah. She's reconciling with something. You know, the further into a maze they go, the less you're in one. Yeah. That idea, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Like, the closer she gets to freedom, she has to confront all these dark things.
Yeah.
Like, basic, pick up a script writing book, this is going to be on page 2 stuff.
Yeah.
We're not geniuses here.
No.
This is just the most, like... So why are we in the Japan thing now? It's because that's what I want to do.
It's fucking incomprehensible. It really is.
It is. Yeah, it's not good.
But it's sort of, I don't know, like the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, like, this is... You'd come up with this idea in university.
Oh, yeah. Not even. Not even.
No.
It's the kind of stuff you come up with when you first want to write scripts when you're 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in school even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in secondary school, like after school when you go to the film clubs. It's like, oh, what would be your ideal?
Yeah.
If you had all the money in the world, what film would you make? I'd make Sucker Punch,
Yeah.
where there's like tits and cyberpunk, steampunk zombies.
Well, I think the title is the biggest giveaway. It's emblematic of the whole experience because it has no meaning.
No.
There's nothing in the film. It's not brought up once.
No character ever says Sucker Punch at any point.
It's two words that he thought would be a cool name for a film. So he's just doing even the film title is just like, I liked it. That's what I wanted to do.
Or Sucker Punch is supposed to reflect the experience of watching it. Where it's it's like a sucker, like it's so surprising and so in your face. It's like a sucker punch.
In a way.
It was like, okay.
I certainly felt punched.
Yeah. That's not how you name films, Zack Snyder.
And then so at the end of it, right, you discover that, which we all knew it was all a fantasy, that she's been lobotomized, right?
Yeah, it's weird because like the film opens with the lobotomy, it ends with the lobotomy, and we find out that all of the events that we've been seeing in the theatre reality were like the previous week.
Yeah, she's been there for a week.
Actual reality.
We missed a week in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then she's been lobotomized.
Yeah, because like her stepfather brings her into the asylum, and Oscar Isaac, with her right there, he basically leans into the stepfather and goes, "Look, she's going to be a bit of a problem with the police. We're just going to lobotomize her. You cool with that?"
Yeah, we can even kill her. I think he even says, like,
if you want her dead, no questions.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then so she's lobotomized. She's returned to her cell. The police come and arrest Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
this other girl has escaped by that point.
Yes, because the female doctor.
Yes.
Or the female psychiatrist had a change of heart.
Yeah, she becomes sympathetic to them.
For no reason. Because, like, in the theatre reality, the reason that she turns against Oscar Isaac is because he shoots two of the girls in the head.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done that. If he's going to the trouble of lobotomizing Sweet Pea, he wouldn't have just shot two people in the head.
Him shooting two people in the head was Zack Snyder getting to that point in the film and thinking, there should probably be, like, loss. like with an ensemble cast going on this voyage together, people have to die. That's just the way films are. I forgot to do that, so I was having killed two in one.
In a film, this would happen. Yeah. And that's how you know that the material you're working with is not good. Yeah. Where if your thoughts are, in a film, this would happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is what
your story has to come from somewhere, whether it's a theme, whether it's an idea, whether it's a character, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Your story has to be informed by something. If it's informed by nothing, all you can do is think, well, what would a film do in this instance?
You know what? I think one of the biggest problems we've encountered in writing is all that stuff's really cool. How do you depict that on screen? Yeah. Because it's never been about what the thing should... It's what do you want to express? Yeah. And like sometimes it's all internal stuff. So you go, right, how do I do that on screen?
Exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, she's lobotomized. One girl gets away. Now the main character, Sweet Pea, whose fantasies we've been watching. Yeah. In the World War one, there's a kid.
Yes.
Who I believe is played by Zack Snyder's son.
Okay. Oh, poor boy.
I know. Yeah. A fate worse than his daughter's.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, he's there. And then, like, their mentor, who's basically the guy at the start of every level that says, this is what you got to do.
Here's the objective, go.
Yeah. Played by Scott Glenn, who I'm just so depressed to see in this film. Also, this came out the same year as season 4 of Mad Men, which is considered the peak of that show.
Yeah, why was John Hamm
why is he in this?
I mean, he's not in it much, but...
No, but still.
He's still complicit.
Even like, it's just the cameo, it's like 2 days' work, just pop up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm Don Draper.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Scott Glenn is there, and then in the main character's fantasy, another character gets out, and then she's at a bus station. The police...
This is in reality. And like the main character that we've been following through this entire film, Sweet Pea, not only is she not there, but she's been lobotomized.
She's gone.
So those fantasy worlds have essentially been destroyed.
Yes, exactly.
Because her brain has been fucked up.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah.
And this other woman's waiting for a bus. The police kind of go to ask her what she's doing. And then the bus driver vouches for her, saying, oh no, she's been on the bus the whole time. And the bus driver is played by Scott Glenn, who existed in another person's fantasy.
Yes.
And the kid, she turns around and the kid is just there.
Yeah.
Who existed in another person's fantasy.
Yeah.
And this is all as we're seeing the reveal of what they've been up to the whole time. Like, they're saying, oh, you know, she did this to the chef the other week.
She started a fire.
Like, all that stuff is what's been happening. So it's meant to be profound. Like, this explains everything. And then they just throw these two in there. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like, as the film's having the goal to show you how brilliant it's been the whole time. And then the bus rides off into the sunset that isn't there. And...
yeah, you'd think if there's one frame, if there's one shot in Sucker Punch, you'd want to be real.
Yeah.
It's the end.
Yeah.
When she's in reality.
If your whole film is going to be fantasies that are oversaturated and the contrast and all the visual effects, reality needs to be shot like a Paul Greengrass.
Yeah.
It needs to be it needs to look really real.
Yeah.
But not even that is real.
If nothing to just signpost to the audience that we're done with the fantasies. This is the real world now.
Yes.
And it looks just as fake as the fucking castle with the dragon.
Yeah. And they drive off, and then the narrator, who is the psychiatrist, I think.
No, I think it's the girl who gets away.
Is it?
I have no idea.
Okay, whoever it is says something like, what's the final line?
You have...
the secret weapon. If you're in a bad situation...
Yeah, if you're in a bad situation, you have all the weapons you need. Now fight.
You, isn't it?
Yeah, you.
You. Now fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was that Zack Snyder thing. It's exactly that same thing in Justice League, where at the end, the Martian Manhunter flies past the camera and we just linger for a few seconds more, even though the obvious cut was him flying past the camera.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to black, where you're supposed to have maybe one line of dialogue before credits.
This is like the final line is punctuated by a cut to black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like 6 lines.
Yeah, like she just keeps talking.
Yeah, over darkness, and then we just get the cool song in the credits.
Yeah,
where there's a music video.
Yeah,
which is what he wanted to do all along.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac dancing to a song. It's like, what is?
But again, like, that the thesis of your film, the final lines of your film are your thesis, right? You know, Great Gatsby, born back ceaselessly against the tide, all that. It's the thesis. The Shawshank Redemption. I hope I see my friend again. I hope. This, it's like, you are the weapon. Like, was I meant to be thinking that the whole... what are you talking about?
Yeah, is this a female empowerment story?
Or was I meant to... Am I meant to be thinking of myself as like... Was this whole thing about self-determination? And what are you talking about?
No, because you see, Sam, what a film would do is at the end it would give you the message.
Yeah.
This is the point. This is what the film has been building up to. So that's where I'm going to put a message.
Yeah.
I'm not going to weave it into the rest of the film. I'm just like, that's what a film does. So I'm just going to put a point of it at the end.
Right.
And make up a point.
Okay.
Just put it at the end.
Okay. So it's like watching, I don't know, Juno. And at the end of it, a voiceover goes, we really need to do something about climate change. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's Sucker Punch.
Yeah. Don't watch it.
Really don't watch it.
Really don't watch it.
Okay. Man of Steel.
Okay, yeah, Man of Steel. My first time watching it, you were rewatching it. There was up to a point in the film.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't... I didn't like it.
No.
But I was fine with it. I was accepting of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of see what it's trying to do. It feels like it's doing it to the degree in which it wanted to do it. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm aiming for the stars and missing terribly. It's like, no, I feel like you're sort of achieving what you set out to do. Well,
yeah, like, even though the films aren't produced linearly, like it's shot all over the place and whatever, cobbled together, the way the film unfolded was almost an analog for Christopher Nolan's involvement.
Yeah.
Because as far as I understood, he did produce it, to the end, but he didn't agree with Superman killing people. It's like, he can't kill anybody, no matter what. And Snyder said, no, I want him to kill Zod. I think the compromise they reached was, because Zod is just massacring people, he has to just be terminated, right? But the whole film feels like that relationship. It's like, the first third, you can see a lot of Nolan in there. The bouncing back between different time periods. And, you know, like that thing we just said for Sucker Punch, basically, which is he sees a school bus as a grown man, and we show him as a child on school bus.
Yes.
And then I think it was the same point where we both lost it. It's like, oh, it's a different thing now. And that is when they're in the desert. Yeah. Zod comes down to collect him.
Yeah.
And then it goes off the rails completely.
Yeah, it just becomes like Zod picks him up and he's sort of explaining like, oh, Krypton is gone, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm actually evil. I want to take over Earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to punch you for the next hour, Superman. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What happened? It was like somewhat competent up until this point.
Yeah, vaguely okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Henry Cavill is that charismatic.
No, I think it was a strategic move to have most of his character development take place when he was a child, so a different actor could do it.
Yeah.
Because when Henry Cavill's just kind of standing there looking vaguely Superman-y, that's kind of all he can really do.
Yeah.
He can't do anything beyond that.
Yeah.
But that point when they're on the salt flats, like, it reached the point where the film wasn't even... It felt like all connective tissue just disappeared. Scenes were just happening.
Yeah, well,
like
so
all of it, like Zod shows up and he's like, oh, I'm Zod, I want Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then Superman like gets arrested, like he allows himself to be arrested. Then he says like, you should give me to Zod. Yeah. Then they're on the salt flat. Then Zod is telling him that Krypton's gone. Then they're fighting. It's like, fuck, slow down.
Yeah.
Given that this film is like what, 2.5 hours?
Like yeah.
There's a point where it feels like this just not enough. This is not enough to fill up this story.
Yeah. Well, like that first third, again, just all the instincts being wrong. Like his first line as an adult, right, is we see a bunch of his life and he's mute. He's just not saying much. Okay. And then he's...
Oh, one more thing about Sucker Punch.
Go on.
Sweet Pea doesn't talk.
Yeah.
For a long period of time.
Yes.
So we thought, okay, the gimmick here is that Sweet Pea is silent.
Another trend, yeah.
Yeah. And at the end of the film, she will finally get a line. Yeah. Whether it be like a noble sacrifice or she's achieved her goal, like she will be silent. Everybody around her will be doing the talking. Yeah. At the very end.
Yeah, it's the girl with no name.
Girl with no name, yeah. And then at one point she's just like a girl like falls over and she like picks her up and she's like, are you alright? Yeah. She's like, oh, I guess that she does talk.
Yeah. And similar in Man of Steel. Yeah. He says nothing and then he's working in a bar. And he just says these guys, could you keep it down or whatever. It's like, right. But I think the next scene is him finding the Fortress of Solitude. And he asks something. He's like, who am I? I think is what he says. Yeah. How is that not your first line? Yeah. If you're going to have him not be silent through the first... That's a cool idea. Yeah. That the first line has to be, who am I? You could have achieved the scene in the bar without him having to speak.
There's a lot of that. A lot of... miscalculations in terms of that. Zod is a perfect example. The first time we see Zod on Earth, he is on every television in the world. Yeah. But they do this actually really cool effect where the TV is static, but you can... It's almost like data moshing. You can sort of see Zod's profile, his kind of silhouette, through the fuzz and the noise. Yeah. And it's almost like the noise is sticking to him. Yeah, like it's a 3D object.
It's like a mold around his face, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like those like little
putting your palm in cement or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. It's a really cool effect. Yeah. And then when Zod shows up, when they go to the salt plains, one of Zod's henchmen shows up. He's like, she's like, oh, Zod has sent me to prepare you, basically. Yeah. And then they go up on the ship, and they have like oxygen masks that completely obscure their features. All of this is like building up to this grand reveal of Zod. Like, even though that we know the Kryptonians are human looking, Zod is going to look like Superman. If you follow the casting thing, you know it's going to be Michael Shannon. But if you don't, it's a nice surprise. Oh, look, it's Michael Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, all of that is like deliberately obscuring Zod's identity to build him up as this like legitimate threat. Yeah. Like, we don't know what we're up against here. But in the beginning, on Krypton, he just like walks into the room. Yeah, he's like, just a character. It's like, oh, hey, I'm in the film now. Yeah. And there's this whole scene where he's like imprisoned. You've got I will find him. You've got that scene. We've seen Zod like a lot up until this point. We're completely familiar with Zod, who he's about, what he wants, what his capabilities are.
He's evidently the bad guy.
He's evidently the bad guy.
Dispute about that. No denying it.
So when you get to the point where it feels like the film is building up to him, it's like, but we know. We've met him.
Yeah. What's the surprise here? Yeah. You know, if there was some change, he looked different or had an additional something.
Yeah, like he was in like when Krypton exploded, it like fucked up the prison as well. So he's like deformed or
scarred. Yeah, something.
Yeah, but no, it's just the same Zod.
Yeah.
It's like that would have been a really cool way of introducing the villain. Is like you're obscuring his identity through all of these layers of confrontation, and finally, as like Superman brings him down to Earth and he gets the power. That's when we meet Zod. Nope, we've already met him.
Yeah, and it's always like this. It could be a good idea, but he just goes too early or too late. Like when Zod is exposed to the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah.
He can't take it. You know? Same with Superman, but obviously he's built up a tolerance for it over years.
Again, a really interesting idea. The way that you defeat the villain, he has the same capabilities as Superman, but because Superman has spent time on Earth...
Yes, that's his edge.
That's his edge. The fact that he has integrated himself into Earth society.
And that there's nicely thematic about he is of Earth now.
He is of Earth now. That Zod is exposed to the same radiation and he can't take it, and that's how Superman defeats him. But no, Zod just learns his powers really quickly.
He learns his power and then they're just on equal footing. It would have been much cooler, like, that's what we have to get to. Like, we have to get to the end of War of the Worlds where they get cold. Yeah. The whole thing of Zod, the whole drive is that we have to get him out of his protective armor or whatever. We have to expose him because he's going to be so weakened and they'll be able to defeat him.
But that's the thing, that could you could do something there with like the military. It's like, you, Superman, you want to give Zod ultimate power. You want to give him the power that you have. He'll be unstoppable. He's like, no, trust me, General. Yeah. Like, why should I trust you, Superman? You're an alien. You're not of this world. Yes. It's like, let me show you what I am, General. Like, this is all like, we're just talking about this.
Again, it's the second page of the script writing.
Yeah, but it feels so natural. Like, these impulses feel so natural. I can't fathom being in the position that Zack Snyder is in. And even if he didn't know this stuff to begin with, the fact that he hasn't learned anything baffles me. Yeah. He's friends with Christopher Nolan. Nolan produced Man of Steel. How do you not learn from a man like that?
Yeah. And David S. Goyer co-wrote it.
And David S. Goyer, how do you not learn from him? You know? Oh, God. Yeah.
Is that it for Man of Steel?
It might be it for Man of Steel. It's fine. Like, Snyder's films, they seem to... We commented on, like, the hideous look, stylistic look that he has. 300, it was awful. Watchmen, it was a bit less. It was toned down a little bit. It felt more appropriate given the style. Yeah. Sucker Punch, it was hideous again. And then Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, it starts to sort of calm down a little bit. Justice League, there's a bit of a spike at the end. Because again, he was given full creative control, and you saw Sucker Punch, right? You never give Zack Snyder full creative control. Do that. Yeah. But yeah, Man of Steel it's got that like annoying handheld CGI thing that we talked about earlier. Other than that, it's fine. Yeah. The filmmaking is fine. Again, there's like no slow motion, which was a pleasant surprise. It's fine.
Well, until the last act,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the last act is like, okay, I'm out of this now.
Decent, tolerable, terrible. I think that's the trajectory of Man of Steel.
That's the slug line that you put on the DVD, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. Okay, Batman versus Superman.
Okay. This was a rewatch for me, but not... Yeah. I have never seen this film in its totality. I think I got as far as the Batman-Superman fight. I just couldn't do it anymore. So this is the first time seeing it in its entirety, but this was your first experience ever. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, woof. Yeah.
I was kind of shocked at just how little action there is in this film. Yeah. Not just how little action there is, but how little screen time Batman and Superman have. There's like a whole section in the middle of the film where it's just like following these random people, like these mercenaries who were in not Golgotha, whatever that fucking African country they made up.
Oh, like Nairobi.
Yeah. Because we theorized, because it was it's a fictional place that was made up exclusively for Batman v Superman. Yeah. We theorized that Zack Snyder had misspelled Nairobi. And you just couldn't be bothered to change it. So he said, it's a new place.
Because I thought, right, is there a place called Nairobi? Because very conceivable that there is. Yeah. There wasn't. Not only is it's not a place in the comic books, it was invented just for the film. Yeah. So they were that lazy that they just changed one letter of Nairobi.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually found out as well, I really didn't know this, Rachel Dawes is not in the comic books. She's a total Dark Knight trilogy invention.
Oh, is she really?
There's no character like that in the comic books.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No analog at all.
Okay. That's jumping a little bit.
Yeah.
Basically, like, what happened, we watched Man of Steel, and we were like, do you want to watch Superman Returns? So we watched Superman Returns.
Which you'd never seen, right?
Which I'd never seen. I was very pleasantly surprised by Superman Returns.
It holds up.
Yeah. We were sort of like following what it was doing. It's like, it's sort of not putting a foot wrong.
Yeah.
Every idea that it introduces is paid off.
Yeah.
It's a comfortable, breezy watch. Superman, the guy playing Superman feels different as Superman and Clark Kent.
Yes.
Which is a problem with Batman v Superman in particular.
Henry Cavill, he just looks like a male model.
Yeah.
He just looks like the glasses. You don't wear glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Brandon Routh, genuinely.
Yeah.
There were moments that were like purely for character.
Yeah.
And just like him and Lois Lane flying around. Like, what's the purpose of this? Nothing. It's just a romantic.
Yeah.
Like spectacle.
Yeah,
you know?
And like Man of Steel, you've got all of this kind of like all of these explanations like Krypton was destroyed and now I've come to salvage Earth and I'm going to terraform Earth into blah, 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 all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And then at the very beginning of Superman Returns, Lex Luthor comes out of the room where the old woman died and he's inherited her fortune.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a wig. And the grieving family are looking at him and like, what the hell is going on? He takes off his wig, gives it to the kid and goes, you can keep that. The rest is mine.
Yeah. Like,
brilliant
already.
Line. Yeah.
Already. Like
the dynamic has been established. We know exactly what's happening. We know this is the bad. It says so much.
Yeah.
Then you go to the Zack Snyder movies. It's the total opposite. They say so little with so much.
Yeah.
And so after Batman v Superman, we were watching it like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
As like a palate cleanser, I think we need to rewatch the Dark Knight trilogy. So that's what we're in the middle of doing at the moment.
And it's become a thing, hasn't it? Whenever, I think there was a line in The Dark Knight where Gordon says to Harvey Dent, I can't afford to be an idealist. I have to do the best I have with what I have. Something like that.
And in Batman Begins as well, like they were sort of... Ra's al Ghul was talking to Bruce Wayne and he was saying that fear and deception are powerful tools in the eyes of your enemies.
Yeah, theatricality.
Theatricality and deception are as powerful a tool as fighting, and that obviously motivates Batman.
Yeah.
And we were just turning to each other going, Do you bleed?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how we'll see how Matt Reeves' Batman films turn out, but I don't know how you have the balls to make a Batman film post Dark Knight trilogy.
I know. Especially after the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You know,
Not just have the balls to make the film, but have the balls to make a film like Batman v Superman.
Yeah, I mean, like, right, the Dark Knight, you know, it's kind of a cliche, but it's a very true one, especially on this latest rewatch. It became very clear. It is not a superhero film.
No.
It's not just a good one. It's not one. It's a crime epic that happens to have a superhero character at the center of it. So, you know, it's feasible that if you were going to do a Batman film, you just really have to go away from that. Really do a comic book, like it seems like Matt Reeves is doing.
Yeah.
Do a dark noir-y, you know, serial killer-y, like it's grimy, it's like Seven, but it's Batman. That's fine. But yeah, you can't do Batman v Superman after The Dark Knight.
I think I asked you as well. We were watching The Dark Knight. Yeah, we were watching The Dark Knight. I think it was the Joker interrogation scene, and then there was the scene as well where like Batman is like he's in the building and he's like fighting the SWAT officers because they've been tricked into thinking that the clowns are hostile and they're actually the hostages in disguise.
Yeah.
I think I turned to you and said, can you imagine if like Steppenwolf showed up now?
Yeah.
You think of like the Snyderverse where you've got fucking Superman and Wonder Woman punching Steppenwolf, and like Darkseid is looking for the anti-life equation. It's going to wipe out all life in the universe. And then there's just Batman. It's just in the middle of this.
It's like the fight sequences in Batman v Superman is like, I'm just sick of people throwing each other.
That seems to be
far distances.
It's like in John Wick. Like you said, that there's like John Wick does one thing in every John Wick fight sequence, and it's like he kind of like
he gets them on the floor and double taps.
Yeah,
it's like
he shoots someone, then he kind of like flips them over his shoulder, and then he double taps them.
Yeah.
And that's Zack Snyder. Like, his only choreography with Superman is Superman punches a person, they fly through 10 buildings, and then they just get up and take another punch.
Yeah.
That's every fight sequence.
I'm sick of it. Yeah. Just fucking... You're trying to kill each other. You know that that's not going to hurt them that badly.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Batman v Superman. Well, it's terrible.
It is terrible.
I think after about 10 minutes, I lost track of what was happening and didn't bother trying to re-find it.
That's the thing. Like, we were having conversations as we were watching the films about which one's worse. What's the worst Zack Snyder film? And the thing with, like, Justice League, yes, it's long. Yes, it's like an unpleasant viewing experience. But I feel like I could sort of recite what happened.
Yeah.
Not in detail.
Yeah.
I don't have, it's not like crystallized in my mind. I don't know it beat for beat, but I can sort of give you a broad idea of like, this is what was sort of going on. This character was dealing with this character was dealing with that. Batman v Superman, I was just bouncing off that film. I could not find a way into it. I had no idea. I couldn't begin to explain it to you. I really couldn't.
Yeah, nor I really. I mean, we said this. I think this is the one place where we might slightly diverge in terms of our hierarchy of shit. It's bad, and it makes less... It's worse written than Justice League. It depends on what you... Not value. I suppose what you have an aversion to more, or what you have a better stomach for.
Yeah.
The story made no sense in Batman v Superman, but I could stand looking at it.
Yes.
And I couldn't stand... like, the whole thing was oppressive.
Yeah.
It was really uncomfortable.
That's fair enough.
But so it's like, but if you're like, I can't even get a handle on it. I was like, yeah, I can't, but I didn't expect to like it. So I'm just looking at it.
Yeah.
Am I assaulted by it? No. Whereas Justice League, yeah, it made sense. But everything, it was so...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And 4 hours, you know, I know people say, oh, the length shouldn't be the sole thing by which you... But 4 hours of being punched in the dick is worse than 2 hours of being punched in the dick.
Yes.
It just is.
Yeah.
So that has to be a factor. But yeah, what else is there to say about Batman v Superman? I mean, it's all terrible. Eisenberg is really bad.
Yeah. Grating. So grating.
Like, he's obviously had the reputation of that portrayal is terrible, and he won the Razzie.
Yeah.
But I thought, it can't be that bad. Oh, it is.
Yes.
Oh, it is. He's been told, like, be cool crazy. Just kind of do a Ledger. Just sort of do that.
Yeah.
And he's just, these little ticks and these little movements, and it's just,
It doesn't feel directed. It feels like they've kind of left him to do. The difference there, though, is that, like, I imagine Heath Ledger was probably not directed when they did The Dark Knight.
No, well,
they kind of
not in like do this move here and this move there.
Yeah, they probably just sort of pointed him in the right direction and went, "We trust you to make the performance work."
Well, I think they probably talked about it beforehand. Is the thing I was reading about it earlier, actually, like months of Nolan and Ledger trying to. I think Nolan was receptive to Ledger's interpretation of the characters. Like, this is what I want to do with it, and they worked on it. And it's like, yeah, if you do, it's like the Mike Lee thing. The way they do that, right, is that they just get all the actors together. This is what the scene is about. They improvise all the dialogue, and then he just kind of he crystallizes it in the script, and they go and do that.
Yeah.
But it's basically all improvised. But all the work's been done. The work's been done beforehand, before you get to the film.
Yeah.
Not with Snyder.
No.
Snyder not directing is literally just putting the camera on them.
Yeah.
Now just do the lines.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Perform it how you want. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fucking dreadful. Absolutely.
There really is nothing
dreadful.
else to say
nothing
about
else
it.
To say.
Wonder Woman's in there for literally no reason.
Tits.
There are tits,
Yeah.
yes. Let's not forget.
No.
But, you know, there weren't that many tits in Man of Steel.
No. Though they make up for that in Batman v Superman just by putting Amy Adams in the bath.
Oh, yeah. And the camera does come dangerously close to nipple level.
Dangerously close. But why not in it? And then he takes his top off and gets in the bath with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Tits.
Tits, yeah.
I don't know what else to say about Batman v Superman.
I don't know what happened, Sam.
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly... That's the thing as well. Like, Sucker Punch is awful.
Yeah.
But I can explain, I can talk about, as indeed we have.
Yeah.
I could talk about what's wrong with that film.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with Batman v Superman.
I understand.
Yeah. Surely the very fact that you know it's terrible but you can't explain it is symptomatic that it's rotten from the inside out.
It is. I don't know. It's just like, I didn't find it that oppressive. I found it nothing.
Yeah.
Punctuated by moments of just absurd crap.
Is that... You have to be careful though, isn't it? Because Justice League was an isolated experience. Although we did go into that thing knowing that like this has a very positive reception. Whereas a lot of Snyder films, including Batman v Superman, we went in knowing that they were not positively well received. Yeah. Positively well received? That was unnecessary.
Well received.
Yeah. Well received or positively received. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I said the thing.
No.
Why we?
You're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired
stop it. Yeah. But this was our sixth Snyder film. We know what to expect by this point.
Yeah.
We know what we're in for. We know how to calibrate our expectations.
Yeah.
If you'd watched Batman v Superman first, you might have had a significantly worse time with it.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
By this point, you're just numb to Snyder. In which case, you can't really put that in the film's favour. Well, I didn't feel anything.
I think the thing that I like least or hate most about Snyder is the visuals.
Yeah.
And because the visuals weren't as oppressive as 300 or Sucker Punch, I forgave it a bit more.
Okay.
Like I said, when we get to our list now, our ranking, it's not that the things at the bottom I think are worse films objectively. It's my experience with them, right? Because there's no point talking about what's objectively better, because that's what opinions are for, right? It's just what did we personally think was better and worse.
Oh, yeah.
So, should we do that ranking now?
We shall.
Okay, what do you put... I guess it'd be more interesting to start with best, wouldn't it?
Okay.
What's the best film by Zack Snyder?
It's Watchmen.
I concur.
Yeah.
That's number 1.
That is number 1.
What's number 2, other than everything?
Yes. I'm tempted to say Man of Steel.
Okay. I'd say Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. That nihilistic ending, brings it down, whereas the first third of Man of Steel elevates it.
Yeah, but the second 2/3.
I know that.
Yeah.
I do know that, but...
Okay, so you put Man of Steel second.
I would put Man of Steel second.
Okay. Third?
Dawn of the Dead.
I would put Man of Steel third.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, okay. So
we're basically in the same place.
Basically, yeah.
Fourth.
We're putting Justice League in this as well, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
Okay. Fourth... 300.
I concur.
Yeah.
Fifth.
Oh, this is where it gets tricky now. I'd put Justice League fifth.
I would put Batman vs Superman fifth.
Okay. We'll see where this goes.
Sixth.
Batman v Superman.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch
is the worst. Yeah.
Okay. When we first saw it, it was like, that was terrible, but hey, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the Justice League thing. But no, there's really no getting around it.
No.
Sucker Punch is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I said that about Justice League. In terms of the experience, it's true. But he has made 3 of the worst films I've ever seen.
The third being...
Batman vs Superman.
Oh, right, okay.
They are 3 of the worst films I've ever seen.
They are.
Yeah. I'm not in term again, like we said, when you get to a certain level of money, there's a competence to a lot of things. I'm not talking about The Room and various B film. Like, okay, yeah, they are worse.
Yeah.
But in terms of the experience and what they should have been, they are 3 of the worst films I've ever seen. Yeah.
I really do, it doesn't even feel... Maybe I'm showing my ignorance here. Because we took these films as they were.
Right.
We didn't do research into...
No, we just watched them.
Yeah, we all we know is what we saw.
Yeah.
But take a Michael Bay, for instance. Nobody likes Michael Bay.
No.
Not really. He's another one that's kind of it's bizarre that you have this much money and resources at your disposal.
Yeah.
And yet you've failed to improve. But Michael Bay, like Zack Snyder, he does kind of have his own little auteuristic characteristics.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Bay is an advert director.
Yeah.
And Zack Snyder is a music video director.
Yes.
The difference between Michael Bay and Zack Snyder is, in Bay's favour, really, is that people don't consider him an auteur.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's a cynical money man.
Yeah.
And he doesn't pretend he's not really. I mean, I guess he tries to make good films, but he's never oh, and I'm an artiste and I want this grassroots campaign for me to make my art.
He focuses more on the technology that drives his films rather than the films themselves. But that's what I was going to say. For everything that you can say about Michael Bay, he is an innovator of technology.
Okay.
He does actually, I think a lot of his projects have actually brought they've actually made leaps and innovations in the technological field, whether it be the way they've rigged the cameras or the techniques they used when they were doing the CG or sound design or whatever. His films bring something to the industry that better people can then adopt and use to tell their own stories. Well,
okay, but I mean, James Cameron and Alfonso Cuarón can also be in that. And they also make good films.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
My point is that Michael Bay...
He contributes something.
Bottom of the bottom.
Yeah.
Scum of the scum.
Yes.
He at least contributes something to the industry.
Yeah.
What has Zack Snyder given us, other than 7 awful films? I really don't think he's done any film that's been like, oh, this is the first film to introduce blah, blah, blah. You know, I really don't think he has.
I mean...
And also...
This is Sparta entered the pop culture lexicon. That's about it.
Okay.
It didn't, like, build anything. It didn't contribute anything to it.
And also, Michael Bay's films, though played with CGI, they're real. Most explosions in a Michael Bay film are real. Okay. He loves real explosions, and if he can do it, he loves practical filmmaking. Yeah. Snyder is so artificial. Yeah. His films lose all sense of everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, you do have like a respect, a perverse respect for Michael Bay, because he said I make films for 14-year-old boys. Yeah. And there's like a kind of honesty to it, cynicism. I'm sure Snyder wouldn't be above saying the same thing, but he also clearly considers himself an artist. Yeah. You know? But
he makes films for 14-year-old boys that are conducting themselves as though they are mature, intelligent
I think I said to you, you know he loves Joker.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because part of the reason we watched it as well is people I admire like his films. Yeah. And this actually ties back to the Oscar thing, which is what I want to talk about.
Oh, wonderful, because it's the first thing we talked about, so we get to tie it all up.
And you don't have to edit it in, as I suggested you do.
Yeah, there you
just talk about it organically.
Yay!
Like Ben Shapiro is a big fan of Justice League, and I think Batman v Superman. He likes these films. Yes. Or maybe not Batman v Superman. I don't want to mischaracterize him. But he likes a lot of these. He likes The Rise of Skywalker and stuff.
Okay, all right.
And like, I've got, I admire his opinion. I give it a go. But it just conclusively proves as well, conservatives suck at entertainment. They really do. Like, the critique of the Oscars is they don't reward films that people have seen.
Yeah. His critique, yeah.
Yeah. And the general conservative critique.
Okay.
Because they're all about the market, aren't they? Like, they should be rewarding Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
And
look at the films that people are actually excited for. It's James Bond. Yeah. It's not Minari. Yeah.
We hate the Oscars, but we agree that they should be rewarding merit. It's whatever the best thing was that year. Yeah. Whether nobody's seen it or everyone has seen it.
Yeah, and even though we don't always agree with their decision. Yeah. Yeah, like a film that wins Best Picture, there's often a good chance that most people will have not seen it. But that acts as a platform to promote that film. Yeah. It's like if we just give Rise of Skywalker Best Film of the Year, not only are we being truly dishonest, but everyone's seen Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I mean,
this is just an empty gesture, really.
Best film should... let me think of two personal examples that I would consider the best films of that year. Okay, best film should be able to cover everything from Barton Fink to The Dark Knight. Yeah. It could be either of those films, right? Yeah. It could be a massive Hollywood movie or a thing nobody's seen. Yeah. So there you go. It shows we're not ideologues, right? Like the conservative thing, they completely get entertainment wrong. Yeah. And Shapiro, he went through all the films, and not only did he get a lot wrong about them, he said he hadn't even seen them. Well, you're not really in a position to...
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's like Stephen Crowder, I used to listen to a lot, and then we watched his live stream of the Oscars when Parasite won. Yeah. And their reaction to Parasite winning, it's just for the diversity things. The problem is that this is what they've done to us. They made us paranoid about all this. But you're usually right about, it's diversity higher, it's diversity win, they got this because he was black. But you can't let that colour it when that's not true. Parasite did not win because it was an Asian film. No. Even if it did, it also happened to be the best film that year and the best film for many years.
It was the correct decision. Yeah,
it was. And after that, I was like, because I don't think he'd even seen it. No. It was just an Asian film. Yeah. And whether it's performative or not, that's wound me up so much. I'm not going to listen to it.
But it's a thing that we often rally against. It's that opinion that he had was fueled by ideology. Yeah. The typical right-leaning position here is that you're awarding something purely on the merit of the fact that it's diverse. Yeah. And that wasn't the case. We disagreed with that. Yeah. So it was unfortunate that someone that we had typically agreed with in the past, we had a lucid moment where we saw, this man is just acting purely on ideology. Or
he's just pandering to what he sees as his base.
That could very much be the
case. I think actually, Blair White, the transgender, she said that because she'd been on Crowder's show a few times, and she said that she refused, I think it might have been him, she refused to go on after a certain point because he basically said to her, yeah, I've got no problem with trans people, but, I've got to, like, mock you a bit for the crowd, for the audience.
Right, okay.
It's like, oh, yeah, like, no. You can't, that's not good enough.
Honesty is part of the reason that we're here. It's because we don't trust the other outlets.
Right.
So for you to, like, admit that there's dishonesty at play, even if it's not, like, criminal dishonesty, even if you're not trying to deliberately lead us astray for dangerous reasons, we're here for because we trust you.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so Ben Shapiro, you have to at least watch a film if you're going to criticize it.
Yeah.
And
like what this nonsense about, like, Sound of Metal is actually a criticism of the American healthcare system.
It's not. And Minari, him saying that it's about how the evils of America. It's not. I know if you hadn't seen it, because it's a film made in 2020.
Yeah.
About an immigrant family, you think, it's going to criticize America.
Yeah.
It's not. If anything, it's all about the American dream. It's about an immigrant family discovering, realizing the American dream.
Okay.
It's really not. It has nothing against America. And so, yeah, A, you need to see a film before you criticize it. And B, if a film is the best film of the year and only 10 people have seen it, it should win the Oscar for best film.
Yes.
Simple as.
Yes.
Meritocracy.
Yes.
And with that, I think we're done.
Okay. All right.
That was a long one.
So now that we've just matched Justice League in terms of runtime, being the hypocrites that we are.
You know what? I did this to us because before we started, like, we had 4 things to talk about this episode. Yeah. Like, if an episode was going to be 2 hours, it was going to be this one. And I said to you, so how is this one going to be 3 hours long?
Even that was an underestimation.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I really don't know how, when it comes time to distribute this episode, I really don't know how it's going to work. Whether most of it's going to be cut, or you're going to get, I don't know if this is going to be in chunks, or we're just going to make you put up with it.
Yeah. We already said as one, haven't we? I mean, if it's actually technically possible.
Yeah, and we kind of, like, we wrapped it up cleanly at the end as well.
I know.
So you kind of need the whole episode.
And just for our own schedule, fuck you, deal with it. You're just going to have to take a 4-hour... Listen to it. You don't have to listen to it all in one. It's not The Lord of the Rings.
No.
Just listen to a bit, have a rest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've always encouraged that. That's why we do timestamps on YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, I know that, like, in the Justice League episode, we said I'm no longer apologizing for the length of our podcast episodes, given that you happily sat there and watched Justice League.
Yeah.
But now that we've basically matched the runtime, I'll apologize a little bit.
A bit of sorry.
Yeah.
A bit of sorry.
We're a bit of sorry.
Okay, on that note.
Okay.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.